It is a Wednesday, which means it is roster rescue time. We are testing out a new time here at noon Eastern time today, right over your lunch hour. And we have the legendary Rich Dotson with us today. Rich, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, and I can hear you from far away, but my headphones, for some reason, aren't syncing up inside.
Oh, no. It's not good.
Here, anybody?
Well, while you work out those technical difficulties, Pete, how are you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing so good. It's a beautiful day. We're doing an early roster review, so it's always good to be here.
Yeah, you know, we were like, hey, let's mix it up today. Let's see how the people like an earlier show versus a later show. What everybody would like. Look at this, Jack Williams. I would die for Dynasty Nerds. That's some loyalty right there. Woo! That is so, Jack. We appreciate you, my guy. Awesome question, super chat question. In fact, Michael hit us up just a little bit ago. He says he has a start 10. I have the 110 through 112 picks. He has at quarterback Daniels and Wilson at quarterback, but light at wide receiver, and he's good at running back and tight end. So he's asking, should he trade his 111 Jordan Addison and a 2026 round 3 pick for the 103? And I don't know about you, Rich, but for me, that is a smash accept. I would absolutely take 103 to get myself an opportunity, especially already saying he said he's good at running back, but that could get you Travis Hunter, the best wide receiver in the class at 103. If not, you could also take a quarterback there at 1-3 because Daniels is great, but Wilson, you don't really want to be starting Wilson. So I think this is a great opportunity to get a high value pick. Rich, what say you?
So fun Rich, can you hear us right now? Because I don't think you can.
No, I'm going to leave and come right back, boys.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. What do you think?
Yeah, I was trying to help Rich with that. So let me look over this. What's the trade again?
So would you trade 111 Addison and a 2026 third rounder to get the 103?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that for sure.
Yeah, you did that rookie draft pick YouTube video a couple weeks ago, kind of talking about what you wanted to trade down. And for like 103, you needed like 108 and like 110 or 110 or something, right?
Right. So yeah, I feel good about this deal.
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
Jordan Addison, like, you know, you're saying you're light at wide receiver, and I get it. And Jordan Addison's not a bad piece, but you feel good with Jordan Addison as your wide receiver 3 or your flex play on a contending team, but you don't really want to measure wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. So it's not hurting you that badly to get rid of him to upgrade to a stud like a Travis Hunter.
Still not working, Rich?
I don't.
All right. Quick. It's all good. Keep testing it. Keep working it out. And if not,
we're back.
You got it?
Yeah. Weird. It says it's hooked up to my laptop, but like I had to go like how we record the podcast, like the studio podcast. It's
weird.
I mean, this is better, I guess, but sound guys sound more handsome at least in this way.
All right. Rich, our opening question here. Guy has 110 through 112 picks. So he wants to know if he should trade 111 Jordan Addison and a 26 third rounder for the 103.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah. And I like Jordan,
baby.
But yeah, why? Like, yeah, for sure. You're getting 103. That gives you a guarantee. Is it Superflex time premium? Or I mean, it doesn't really matter. But
yep.
Oh yeah,
yep.
You're guaranteed to get Trevian Henderson,
and he's light at receiver, which likely is Travis Hunter there.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, I would do that. I mean, you want to up. So I mean, you're essentially giving up 110, which is going to be probably, you know, if you love Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, that range. Now you could possibly get a Mecca Buka, but like, is a Mecca Buka Jordan Addison? Like, is that what you're getting? Or you want to put yourself in an opportunity to chase that, Malik Neighbors, which is what I'm always trying to chase. Like if I'm ever in position to swing the bat at like, off a tee, essentially, which is like a top 3 pick, is like swinging the bat off a tee. Like I want to put my position to do that. Now, can I hit a home run from the, a fast pitch? For sure. But like you're way better position to go ahead and hit it off the tee. So I think having a 1-3, and it might be a situation, even though like you kind of talked about this on the podcast, Garrett, where like, yeah, he really needs a receiver. But Trevin Henderson goes into first. It follows my bold prediction that gets drafted ahead of Marvin Hampton. He goes in the first round of the NFL draft, and he goes to a really good situation, whether it be the Broncos, the Bears, or the Chiefs. Like your best bet might be able to trade then that 1-3 and get a proven receiver that's now an upgrade over a Jordan Addison. Like maybe there's a chance like you put yourself in position to get like a Puka Nacua. So a Garrett Wilson, someone on those lines for the Trevin Henderson, who's not a proven asset at that point. And remember, like all those rookies are not proven assets. Like anytime you upgrade to a proven asset, you've done your team a better service.
Absolutely. And you still have the 110 and the 112 to still get yourself receivers in that range that you were looking at for 111. So there's still going to be plenty of guys available for you there. Now, Pete, we have a nuke, and we always want to start off right away with a nuke when we have it. However, we're waiting on our some information from our guy. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're in the Manhattan phase of this nuke right now. If you are watching, Harvey, respond to my email, please. I need a little bit more information.
We will get to you as soon as we hear back from you, my guy. You will be right away. So instead, Charles, that puts us with a different roster to review right away. Is that correct?
Yes. Charles.
All right. This is Charles. This is the Multiverse of Madness. It's an Empire League, which does change things a little bit. Start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex. And the last roster spot each year, it is different. This year, it's a quarterback slot. So that's the multiverse thing. So he's basically saying this year it's a super flex league, but in the future it will not be a super flex league, if I'm understanding that correctly. So that's kind of where.
What an interesting concept.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where like the rules kind of change every year, which is fun, but it would drive me nuts because I draft based on the rules. So like, but I would also kind of love it. I don't know. It's interesting. So with that, he has Justin Herbert, JJ McCarthy as his starting quarterbacks. Does not technically have a third, although Joe Flacco could maybe be an opening day starter. We'll have to wait and see what happens in Cleveland. Devon Achane, Ramondre Stevenson, Jordan Mason at running back. Wide receiver wise, we have Drake London, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins, Tank Dell at wide receiver. Tight ends, we've got George Kittle and Chig Okonkwo. Picks 107, 213, 301, 307. Right now, this team is in 6th for dynasty mode, but in contender mode. Pete, where are we at? Contender mode, we are 5th. So we are kind of the epitome of right in the middle. So, Rich, we know that we do not like to stay in the middle. We want to go one direction or the other. So, Rich, which direction are you going with this team?
I mean, he's got the quarterbacks, even for when it switches super flex. His number 2, even not in a regular PPR, is fine. He's got 1 stud running back, which kind of hinders him a little bit. Go back down to the receivers. The receivers,
basically 3 guys and then nobody.
Yeah, he's very. So start 2 running backs, start 3 receivers, 2 flex. Yeah, this team's in. Unfortunately for your raw, like how much you have to start, like your team's in pretty bad shape because you don't have enough people to fill out a whole lineup. So if you can't fill up a lineup, it's going to be hard to win a ship. It kind of shows you why you're in the middle. I would be looking to, obviously at 1-7, I'm taking best player available. I would love for that to fall into, like, you're right in the borderline of like that top tier players where you could like flex out, the fact that it's going to be a super flex year. Maybe you could trade JJ McCarthy for a lot more and get yourself in position, but you need more depth and you only have 1-7. Does he have a second round pick too? Does he have 2-7? Doesn't really make a huge difference. No, he doesn't.
No, he's got 213. So this is
Oh,
a 14-team league. So
14.
that is kind of what makes it a little more shallow.
Okay, so he has a chance to make the playoffs. So it's going to be more shallow. Okay, with that in mind, then go back up, please, on his roster. It does make it a little bit more manageable, but like, can I see the first overall team, the roster, please?
Drake May, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chuba Hubbard, David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Rico Dowdle, Brian Thomas, Puka Nacua, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Cedric Tillman, Christian Kirk.
So 1-7, you obviously need a running back too.
Ooh, and they add the 103 to this team.
Yeah. This is a tough spot in a 14-man league. I would look at people like who have the draft capital. I would be interested in downgrading from Devon Achane. I'd be interested in possibly moving JJ McCarthy for the right spot at receivers. I'd be trying to like move off T Higgins because Drake London and Rashee Rice are going to be your 1-2. T Higgins is a really nice player. With that extension, you get really excited. He's a player who's never really had higher than a top 14 finish there. So like he's like built in that wide receiver 2 spot, and it's a really easy thing to replace. Not like you could find a wide receiver 2, you could draft a wide receiver 2. So for me, I'm looking to move T Higgins for draft capital or 2 wide receivers. If I could do something on those lines, like, can I get like somebody like, can I get Jaden Reed plus where people are down on? You could definitely get Jaden Reed plus. Like I'm looking for the plus receiver to get T Higgins on top of. He needs more depth, right? So if you want to keep Devon Achane and keep 1-7 and draft a running back, you're still real shallow at running back. You don't have a lot of depth there. But if you can move some of these players for a little bit more, can you get a little bit more? Now it's a 14-man league, so a lot of people are shallow. But like right here, for example, like, I mean, honestly, like if I can get like, what pick does this guy have right here? 1-1. Oh man. You're not getting 1-1.
I like Pete's idea. Pete put in our little chat here. He said the fact that it won't be Superflex next year, would this maybe be a good time to sell JJ McCarthy? I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I said that earlier too. That makes a lot of sense to kind of move that because, yeah, you're going to start JJ McCarthy this year in your Superflex, which kind of overinflate your roster, but like
next year he loses all value basically.
Yeah, all value. And I would love to know, like, is that a 4-year rotation then on Superflex, like, or is it like every other year? You know, because that changes the value too. If it's every other year, like I'd want to have that quarterback too. If it's every 4 years, I would care less because I would just put.
I think it's supposed to be unpredictable. It's like,
okay,
yeah, where you never know what you're gonna get.
Like, would you take here again? I don't know if this is possible on this team, like, because this team's not very good either. Like, this guy obviously traded for all this draft capital, so you're probably not going to get Ricky Pearsall and 2 first for T Higgins, you know. But like, and at the same time, do you really want 110 and Ricky Pearsall for T Higgins? No, he's got Justin Herbert though, so like I'd really try and get that stack with Ladd McConkey. Like, one, can I offer you T Higgins for Ladd McConkey straight up? Like that's an offer I'd try to make. Because I know it sounds outlandish, but some people would actually he's got Joe Burrow actually, so he's probably way more interested in T Higgins as well. So that's a good partner there.
Maybe you can throw some second and thirds at it to get it done or something like that.
Yeah. Can I get Ladd McConkey? I would offer him first T Higgins straight up for Ladd McConkey. If I get to slap no, I'd write back, hey man, you want that stack? I'm just trying to like get the dual stack. I'm gonna give you the stack. I'll give you 2/3 on top. If that says no, I would go as high as my second for Ladd. Somebody who finished his rookie year as a wide receiver. So yeah, random draw. Okay. So I'd start there. That doesn't make your roster better. Like depth-wise,
kind of a lateral move, but add some years though.
Yeah, you add some years. You upgrade the position, in my opinion, on a higher fantasy football finish on a points per game basis. Even definitely as long as Jamar Chase plays, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a running back this offseason. But with more teams, Garrett, I mean, he needs depth. So like, how do you turn these players into 2 players, extra draft picks? Like, how do you turn Devon?
I think you're right. I think you have to split assets. So I think Devon Achane is going to be one of the biggest ones because he's gonna bring the biggest return outside of maybe Drake London. Drake London would also bring a pretty big return. But I'm going to say something, and I don't even know that I'm kind of thinking out loud here. So help me with this, Rich. What if instead, knowing that this is going to go back to a 1 QB league, what if instead we at least see what we could get for Justin Herbert?
I mean, I would listen to that too in a 1 QB league, but then you're like,
right?
Listen, I believe in JJ McCarthy and that offense, but then you're putting yourself in a real tough position. Cause then you're really relying on that.
But with some of his later draft picks, he might be able to get like some of those quarterbacks. Cause I think they're still going to be drafted.
These quarterbacks. Yeah. I'm not throwing a party. I'm not putting out a telegram telling people that I got Cam Ward to fix my roster.
But still, I mean, you're gonna have
I feel like if you move Justin Herbert, you're really just go ahead and then why not move everybody? I get your point, but I don't think that if he's trying to make his roster better, I don't think that's the move. I would.
Well, I'm more in the I'm more in the full let's rebuild type of mode, because I don't know that he's gonna be able to upgrade quite enough to be able to compete with those top 2 teams.
Yeah, but he rebuild. What are you going to get? It's a 14-man league, so it's going to be hard. These draft picks hold a little bit less value. I'm going back when Peter had those 12 and 13 teams up. Go back to 12 right there, for example. Go to 13 then, Pete. Who had 14?
I like 12 because why not give yourself kind of that extra insurance? You give up Justin Herbert, get Justin Fields as kind of your extra insurance to JJ McCarthy, but then you get a ton of plus on top.
Okay? One, what plus are you getting? Are you going to get that plus?
A ton, because Justin Fields isn't worth much, but you still give yourself the security of a second quarterback.
Okay, I would pivot and start here. This team's at the bottom of the league, right? He's got old veteran running backs. You need veteran running backs. I would offer.
So you're going in, you're trying to win still this year, is what you're saying. If you're going after veteran running backs,
I don't see a logical path to blow this up and make it. He's got some good cornerstone young pieces. He needs some running back. He's got 1.7. 1.7 is not going to really give you the running backs you need necessarily. What do you think? Hear me out, because he needs depth. This is going to sound a little crazy. Would you even consider to go for the ship? Would you offer? I would try and offer this team T. Higgins in 1.7. And can I get, stop scrolling, Peter, go back up a little bit, please. Can I get Nico? I don't know if this is going to work. Can I offer T. Higgins in 1.7? This team's obviously bad. They have 1.4. T. Higgins in 1.7 for Nico Collins, James Conner, and Alvin Kamara.
You could try. I don't think it will get done.
Then offer your second two.
Because you would probably have to offer 1.7 and T. Higgins just to get Nico, I would guess.
Probably. And that's what kind of sucks. But I want to get James Conner and Alvin Kamara off this roster, which I think is pretty doable. But I don't really want to necessarily offer 1.7. But could you offer, again, it really comes down to how people value T, because I'm lower on T than most people, but some people are pretty high on T Higgins. So it really comes down to this owner's offer.
What if you don't? If
pick them,
if you're wanting to go that route, do we have to go after Nico, or could we just use 1.7 and go after Kamara and Connor and see what else we could get on top of those two?
But what else?
Because if you're trying to go for this year, I don't know. I feel like you're just. I don't know, for one season, is Nico going to put up drastically more points than T. Higgins for this one season?
I don't need him to. I'm the move is not that. The move is just to get Nico, who I like more, but the move is to get Alvin Kamara and James Conner. I'm trying to level. I don't love one.
I get you. I just don't think that'll work.
It might not. But listen, a lot of trades, you have no idea if it's going to work. This guy's going to know. Charles is going to know better than us, his league mates. That's an offer. I'm opening the door of negotiation. If he tells me, dude, we're far off, then okay. Do you just offer your second right out the gate? Because dude, you're second if you're at 1.7, 2.7, which is really way later. So it's
I don't
like
think he has 2-7. I think 2-13 is his next pick.
Yeah, that's a terrible pick. So throwing 2-13, shit, dude, throw in your third round pick too. So offer your first, second, third round pick. You know what? Offer your entire 25 draft class. Listen, optics are everything sometimes. It's why some people wear makeup, because optics are everything. So let's dress this up. Let's put a little makeup on it. Let's make it a little prettier than it really is. Let's shock the homies. Offer your entire 25 draft class. Throw in a 26th third. They even make it look like more draft picks, and then offer for and 1-7. That's your whole class, and T. Higgins for Alvin Kamara, James Conner, and Nico. Because this team is in the bottom. They desperately need help. They need draft capital, and all those draft picks littered in there sometimes can paint a prettier picture than it really is. So in a 14-man league, third round picks might as well be a turd sandwich. From a distance, it looks delicious. Like, hey, there's some Nutella on there. When you get close, you realize it's pretty gross. And that's where the third round pick is. So I'm going to start with that offer. You said it might not work, and it might not. But listen, these kind of trades in these kind of leagues, they take work. And that's the first hammer on the nail that I'm hammering down.
Yeah. If you're not able to, though, I'm fine trying to figure out what else I can get on top of Alvin Kamara and James Conner for the 1-7. He might not have the assets to do it, but that's really what's changing your team this year. If that's the route you're trying to go, if you're trying to win it all this year, I do still have my hesitations that he would be able to win it this year. With that trade, though,
I wouldn't feel a lot better about his chances.
I'd feel better, but I'd still have my hesitations.
JJ hits, and then Kamara's Kamara. Then I think he'd feel good. What about 10? What about 11 and over there? Those teams, like, what do they got going on here? Ooh, sexy Jaden,
CMC, Travis Etienne.
Okay, moving on. There's no deal there. We just looked. That's team 12. That's team 12 guy. So Jonathan Taylor, interested. And what's the receiver? Because I'm just trying to upgrade. Jordan Addison, George Pickens. Would you do
what's our team? What's our receivers again? It's T. Higgins and what else?
Drake London, Rashee Rice.
Okay. Yeah, there's not much there. We need a fourth receiver, though.
Yeah. Well, we need a second running back. We've only got one running back. So you have to, on top of the flex spot. So what sucks is you got to start 3 receivers and 2 running backs, and then you have the 2 flex, and then you have, wait, is that 2 flex? Is that 2 flex include a super flex, or is that extra? Then there's another flex.
I think the super flex is on top of that.
Well, you're right. In a 14-man league, it's gonna be real hard to fill that roster with like week in, week out studs. But you want to have a good starting lineup. Maybe Jordan Mason can kind of come through to you, maybe Ramondre, but I think both those guys, like, obviously Mason's hindered by Aaron Jones. I think Ramondre Stevenson's gonna have Karate Kid and get his legs swept by a draft pick. So you could really need 2 more running backs.
And that's kind of where I keep coming back to, Rich. Like, I'm worried that you could try it and see how it goes for this season. But if you kind of box yourself in with the Kamara and the Conner, those are this year assets only. And then you could find yourself, if you don't win it, in a really bad spot. So I would be leaning more toward.
What are you going to blow it up for? What you have a very good high end asset in Drake London. Rashee Rice is young. Like, he's young. Like, blow it up. Like, he's got the young pieces. What are you going to do? Blow it up for a whole bunch of draft picks in a 14-man league where those draft picks hold way less value? The gamble just to reclaim those players that you have. Like, I strongly disagree. Like, I don't think that's the path for him. Like, he's already got the foundation. Like, you want to move some of those pieces. I'm okay with. Like,
I don't think you can get him a championship roster, though, Rich.
But what are you going to do? You're going to just take.
You have to reset.
Reset where? For what? He's already got the foundation. How many, like, so you're going to get 2 first-round picks for Drake? Like, what are you going to get? Like, I don't even see a lot of people that have a lot of draft capital here. Like, when the top teams has the high picks, like, what draft capital? Like, there's no.
You move JJ McCarthy. That's step 1.
Okay.
You move JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
I would be trying to get Ramondre Stevenson off my roster like yesterday before the draft.
Giving you anything for Ramondre
in a 14-team league, you will get something.
Okay, you're
second round pick,
a late second round pick a third round pick in most leagues.
let's go. I would be getting T. Higgins off my roster.
Yes, agreed.
And then I would be getting George Kittle off my roster. So there's
Okay.
4 assets right there
Yeah.
that will help me for next season be able to kind of put the pieces back into place.
Okay. Well, you just named all the players I'm willing to get rid of too. So we're on the same page. I thought you were talking like blowing up, like getting rid of like Drake London and stuff. Like I'm not there.
No, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying I'm getting the older assets off my roster or the pieces that are not going to help me this year, because I think even with Kamara and Connor, you're banking on 2 old guys that could be the end for them this year. Maybe not. Maybe they have one more amazing season, but it very well could be the end. But if you're using draft assets this year to do that and you're not getting younger, you could find yourself stuck in the middle, stuck in 4th place, and then you kind of missed out on those windows.
But, I mean, his other avenue is if you can't get rid of those, say you can't find, like you're talking, like moving one of those doesn't do you a lot. You got to make all those moves.
Yeah, you got to make all 4 moves.
The counterpoint is, Garrett, like the move that I said is like if you could bring Nico in and then you can add those 2 running backs, I think he has a legit shot of winning the league this year. I really do. If those guys, if Connor plays like he played last year, I don't expect him to bring him in a running back. He's a high-end running back, at least a low-end running back 1. If Achane, now, of course, and you can say this about any roster, if Achane hits and is a top 5 running back and Rashee Rice comes back to how he was,
sure.
And say he's able to get, like I said, Nico, say you can get Nico for T. Higgins and Nico's a low-end wide receiver 1, T. Higgins is a high-end wide receiver 2, but then Kamara hits like he does and he needs JJ, because this is a super flex year, and JJ McCarthy comes in and looks like a Kevin O'Connell quarterback with the weapons he has around him, then he does have a legit chance to win the championship this year. Because everybody's shallow. All those teams that lose a guy with the starting roster, like he has to stay healthy, but that's everybody ahead of him as well. It gives him a shot. What is 1-7 doing for him? He's bringing in a Mecca Buka, Quinshon Junk. It's not doing anything for him. Like I would go ahead and rather gamble. And then he's doing the slow process of next year's picks. And you're right. Could he move George Kittle? Then he needs a tight end. Can he move?
And George Kittle's going to get you more in this league than in another league because there's even fewer tight ends available.
Yeah, and George Kittle has a very good chance to be tight end 1 overall this year. So he has, that's what I'm saying. He has a really good foundation here. He needs 2 more running backs. And that team with the doo-doo team has 2 running backs that can help him this year. Now you're right. Is there a path to move JJ and T. Higgins and George Kittle and get young, more assets and draft capital? I'm a little bit, listen, we know the next year's draft class isn't that great on paper right now.
Sure.
In a 14-man league. The only people that are really probably moving those guys for their future draft capital are contenders. So you're talking about basically Garrett 2nd-round picks in a bad draft class. What do we do? Are you why gamble on that when you have these guys now? If anything, maybe in season you move a George Kittle if you can't move him now. But T. Higgins, I think T. Higgins' value is high now because he just signed that contract extension compared to when he's actually putting out numbers and he's and Jamar Chase is fully healthy and bring another running back.
I'm with you. That's why I want to deal him now.
Yeah, me too. But I'm looking for. Where I differ from you is I'm looking for lateral moves to add a little bit depth to get everything now.
If we add those 2 running backs, let's say somehow you're able to make that deal work. You have to give your entire draft class and T. Higgins to get those 2 running backs in Nico. Let's say he's able to pull it off. I still question that, but let's say hypothetically he's able to pull
not
it off.
An easy deal to make, but a path.
So he's still, isn't he still a roster spot or 2 short though?
No,
he would have to start 2 running backs, 2 flex.
Yep.
And how many receivers? 3 wide receivers.
Yeah. So starting lineup would be JJ McCarthy, Justin Herbert, George Kittle, Drake London, Rashee Rice, and Nico Collins. And then his running backs would be Devon Achane and Alvin Kamara. And his flex would be Ramondre Stevenson and James Conner.
Okay. So you're counting on Stevenson, which is.
I'm not counting. But listen, I feel go to this. Okay, go the number 1 team's roster. I feel like everybody's last flex spot is going to be a little bit so he's starting Drake London, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chuba Hubbard, David Montgomery. He's got Aaron Jones there for a little depth. And then Brian Thomas, Puka. It's way better, but
yeah,
it's still beatable. it's still you could still win. Like obviously that's the team to beat.
And he's also adding 103 though.
Yeah, he's got 103. So it's hard to beat. But hey, listen, Garrett, sometimes you're in a league. Let me put it this way. Sometimes you find your position in, you're going to need to get super lucky to win your league, right? But there's no other moves. Would you rather come in second and third place and finish in the money than just be stuck in the middle and have a long path to nowhere? Like, yeah, maybe he is just playing for second and third, but maybe maybe for this team that is as good as it gets right now. And that's the situation he's found himself in. Sometimes it's not like, it's easy to say, blow it up. And like, I feel like if he blows this up and goes the wrong path, like he's going to be stuck in the middle or the bottom consistently, where like, I think there's a path to at least try for the ship, which again, remember that team a couple of weeks ago when I was on Marcel, you saw his team, how good it was. I beat him back-to-back years and my team wasn't nearly as good.
Sure. It's still luck when it comes to the playoffs. 100%. Like there's still a big element of luck. So I think, I don't know that we're going to see eye to eye on this one, which is fine. And you could take this either direction. You have multiple directions you can take it, but I'm big on capitalizing on JJ McCarthy's value when we know without a doubt it will dip next year, like, or Justin Herbert's value, whichever quarterback you want to move. Like, I'm big on capitalizing. Would you let me talk? Stop. Shut your mouth. All right.
Things interrupt you.
Throw on this edge. This guy's awful. Bring Taylor back. All right. Next one here. Well, best of luck, my guy. I hope that from this debate, Charles, that you at least have multiple avenues you can go and you can decide what route you think is best for your team, and try some of those trades. You might be able to figure out the Nico trade and make it work. And if that's the case, amazing. But you're gonna have to try it for yourself and see what works.
Can we go
Riley?
Huh? Why is JJ McCarthy's value 100% going to go down?
Because the league changes. It's a one quarterback league.
Oh, I thought you were about JJ personally, his value.
No,
in the league. But he says random. What if it's Superflex next year too? It's 1 out of 4.
I guess there's 25%. A chance, but
Garrett is 25%.
We don't know if it's 1 out of 4 though.
It's making stuff up. That's what I do.
All right. Riley, he says he did a super chat with us. We greatly appreciate that, man. Sold 102 Cooper Kupp and James Conner for Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Wan'Dale Robinson, 26 mid third, and a 27 mid first. It's a total rebuild, and I have Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and Higgins. Would you trade any of those for more picks? Have an extra first in 26 and 27, 10-team Superflex, start 11. So, Rich, you want to start with the trade. How do you feel about that trade? Because I like giving up Cooper Kupp and James Conner in a deal. It's tough in a total rebuild, though, to give up 102.
For me, I love that trade for him because, does it suck you're giving up 102? So you're talking Hunter, Hampton, Henderson, Cam Ward, some of those lines. Yeah, I mean, does that suck? But again, those are rookie picks. You're regaining with a 27 first, which is nice, which gives you 227 first. But again, you're giving up 1-2, but you're giving just listen. Here's a better way to look at it. Would you give up 1-2 for Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith?
It's close.
Remember, his first 2 years, Jalen Waddle was wide receiver 7 overall, and Tyreek Hill is probably, if he's there this year, it's probably his last year in Miami for sure. So Jalen Waddle is going to back to be number 1. Devonta Smith is a very steady wide receiver 2, who will give you a couple probably wide receiver 1 years here and there. He's already done 1. I would imagine.
I think it's a fair trade. It would basically come
right. He's in a full. So remember, he's in a full rebuild. So he's getting a 2-for-1 deal there. Yeah. On top of the first. And anybody, you can easily say you would take and here's where it changes back as well. You're getting a 27 first for Cooper Kupp and James Conner, which you would 100% do even if you're not in rebuild for the most part. So that kind of, again, even if you leave 1-2 slightly, which I can understand, leaning 1-2 slightly, that 27 first tips the scales. And Wan'Dale Robinson's a depth piece. You get a third on top. I feel really good about that deal. Because here's the thing. You need to get Cup and Connor off your roster in a full rebuild. So if that's what it takes to give up 1-2 as well, I'm okay with that. And then I would then use T. Higgins because now you just gained 2 receivers, right? You lost Cooper Kupp, which is fine. I would then try to use T. Higgins to get back up into that first, like high into the first. Like, can I get T. Higgins? Can I get into that top 6 with T. Higgins and get a 27-second on top, right? Like, I'd be comfortable with that. Like, that's a move I think with his value right now you could do. And then the top 6 is going to give you a chance to add a running back. It's going to give you a chance to add a tight end. It's going to give you a chance to add a quarter. Like, it's going to give you somebody who's going to be really good, right? We can agree that the top 6 is a pretty good space to be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The number 2 quarterback, possibly Cam Ward, depends how your team plays in a 10-man league. I'd be a little less likely to go quarterback there in a 10-teamer. But you probably get Colston Loveland when Colston Loveland skyrockets with his landing spot. You get a good receiver there, the number 2 receiver there, possibly Travis Hunter. People were worried about him there. So I would move T. Higgins to try and just get younger and shoot for a higher upside and get a 27-second on top. I don't know if I'm short selling myself there, but I'd be comfortable with that if I could do it.
I would love to get a top 6 pick for T. Higgins, if that's possible. The draft we're so close to the draft now. It might have been able to happen a couple months ago, right after he signed. It might be a little tighter now in order to do it. But you could also go the route, like you've already kind of moved your 102, so you've kind of already said this is going to be a longer rebuild by moving the 102. I'm wrestling with that one, but since you've kind of already leaned into that, I would have no problem saying, okay, give me your 26 first and 27 first then for T. Higgins. So that might be a route that you could kind of lean into, that longer rebuild that you're kind of putting yourself in a spot. Josh Allen is the tricky one. I think Goff, I have no problem moving. Allen is the tough one because he's crazy valuable, but it's hard to get that kind of player back later. And he's still young enough that we know he's got another 7-8 years. So Rich, is this the type where you kind of roll something out there and you say, hey, like he's available, but I'm not giving him away. And so see what offers you get. If someone gives you a king's ransom, okay, I'll move them. But unless I'm blown away by an offer, I probably hold. Is that kind of where you're at too?
Yeah, that's a move where I'm going to rebuild. Like, I'm just trying to, like, if possible, I'm trying to flip Josh Allen straight up for Jaden Daniels, like just straight up. Get 5 years younger there. I would be interested in, can I get Caleb Williams plus, can I get Caleb Williams and your 27 first, 27 second, and maybe your 26 second possible? You know what I mean? Like something like that like
you might be able to.
Yeah. And I would gamble on some of those like high upside quarterbacks, like along those lines too. Goff is probably in season move most likely, but again, it's 10 teams. So I would think Goff's value is a little bit more depreciated there. I think you'll find a path to move him eventually, but again, you still need 2 quarterbacks. So moving Higgins, we already agreed to move Higgins, but yeah, I would definitely move Josh Allen. I'd be open to that. I would love to do the 1-1 Jane Daniels, but if not, like, again, in a 10-team league, it sucks, but you're in rebuild anyway. So, like, if you're looking 3 years down the road, Josh Allen's going to be 31. Not too old by any means, but, for him, like, if I can get Caleb Williams plus, right? Like, the big thing is when you rebuild, like we talked about the last roster, it's the plus. Like, the one player doesn't make a difference. And unfortunately, when you're in rebuild and you have these kind of assets, you're always going to be downgrading, right? Because a rookie pick is a value, but it's a shot in the dark. It's a 50-50 chance is the way you have to look at it. Definitely if it's not a top 3 pick, it's a 50-50 chance.
So Riley just added a little bit of context. Allen went bonkers last year because their scoring settings are also 0.5 points per rush and 0.6 points per or 1 point per 0.6 yards rushing. So he capitalized on the rushing volume and went bonkers. Here's the one other thing I will say. You might be able to get a king's ransom for him, and you might, with these scoring, you probably can get even more. It does help too that it's a 10 team versus a 12 team, because quarterbacks are a little easier to recoup later in a 10 team versus a 12 team. So that is one thing that helps you a little bit. If you do get that King's ransom for Josh Allen and you give him up, you're not going to be as desperate. It's not going to be as difficult to get decent quarterbacks later on if you get the right deal.
I would try and get Caleb Williams plus a couple first if I can. That draft capital, like I'd want the guaranteed, like, hey dude, I'm downgrading here. You're going to be a contender. I want 2 late first. It gives you 3 firsts in 26, 3 firsts in 27. And then if I can make that deal pretty quickly, I'm then using those 3 26 first. And I'm going to kind of try and pivot my way through this draft and grab a couple guys that I like compared to next year and kind of like enhance that rebuild a little bit more. And then if I can turn that 3 to 2, if I can take 3 first round picks next year and turn into 2 first round picks this year, I'd feel way better than that. And then that would
remember, we could probably get 2 firsts for T Higgins as well.
Yeah. And then
in 26 and 27.
And then what that does is it enhances your rebuild. And then it gives you, as the 27 hype starts to really build even the next year, that's going to give you ammo to, one, keep the higher picks in 27 that you really want, are for sure things, and then flip, because you have so many firsts this year in a good core and with the receivers. Then you can take that 27 first that you don't want, like maybe keep the top one. You start moving those for proven assets that are going to be significantly better, because everybody's going to want those 27 first as well. So I would take those 26 draft capital, turn it into 25 draft capital, and trying to add on that. And maybe don't move Josh Allen, but if you don't, there's always a window to sell him. Like, you can figure that out in season and get multiple picks and get a quarterback that you like. Maybe somebody like shocks us. Maybe like Jackson Dart comes out and looks really good. And like, I get Jackson Dart, but I'd be mostly focusing on trying to just get younger at quarterback. I said Caleb Williams. I'd be open to Bo Nix even, if I can get a lot on top. I know it sounds silly to give up that, but like when you're in rebuild, you're trying to build as much depth as possible. Draft picks are going to be your best trade asset, and then you're going to have those core foundation pieces.
Real quick, I got a couple housekeeping things, but Robert's question: how do we feel about trading future picks for livestock? Got offered a 26 first for 3 hens. Hey, with the cost of eggs right now, not a bad move.
Eggs are down, buddy. That's a good offer, because you got continuity there for life on those chickens. It's just you can never make trades outside of what's inside the league.
Agree to disagree. Give me the hens. All right.
How many leagues are
right.
I'll give you 100. I'll pay for your buy-in next year. Just give me this and that.
All right. Couple extra things here. Harvey, if you're listening, we want to get to your nuke as soon as we can. We still are waiting on your MFL info. So make sure that you give Pete your MFL info. You can reach him via the email. Also, if you guys haven't yet and you're like, hey, how do I get my entire roster looked at? How do I get my entire roster reviewed like we just did with Charles? You can scan in the upper right-hand corner. I know we just had one come through. Pete's setting that up as we speak. So scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner, and we can make that happen. So let's head to Chase. Chase hit us up with a super chat here. He got offered Kyler and Neighbors for Josh Allen. 10-team, start 9, Superflex. Quarterbacks are Allen, May, Cousins. Running backs, Barkley, Achane, Jacobs, Connor. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Juwan Jennings, Cooper Kupp, and Jacoby Myers. Tight ends, Andrews, Ingram, and Andrews again. I'm guessing that was supposed to be likely, but maybe not. And 25 picks. He has the 103 and the 109. So we talk about King's ransom for Josh Allen. That was something we just talked about. This is a 10-team league, super flex. Is Kyler and Neighbors the type of King's ransom you're looking for, or is it not enough, Rich?
And I think I would do that deal. I would do it because you're getting, in my eyes, a top 5 dynasty wide receiver who's super young, which you're going to pair up with Amon-Ra St. Brown. The rest of your receivers aren't very reliable anyway, so you need a receiver. You have 103. So if you wanted to back up, because your running backs are fine, like I would probably be real interested in Travis Hunter there. But if worst case you want to draft Cam Ward just to like kind of give yourself some upside, you could do that as well. But in 10-team, again, I'm a little bit more bullish there, or bearish. So I'd be okay, like to pass on Cam Ward. Like I would look at that as like, okay, I have Kyler Murray and Drake May. Then my running backs are Barkley and Achane. And then I can have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors. And then my other flex spots, I have Travis Hunter, like in Josh Jacobs, like in James Conner. Like I feel really good about that. Kyler and like Allen's number one, but I think if you take the points per game of Neighbors and Kyler combined, it will greatly outproduce Josh Allen. So
yeah, I agree. We would have to kind of give like even level replacement. So like a quarterback or wide receiver 4. So do you think like whoever's wide receiver 4 is right now, because he'll have to step in for Neighbors, wide receiver 4 and Allen versus Neighbors and Kyler, you think they'll outscore Allen?
Yeah,
I think they would.
Yeah.
And
I honestly, I think Neighbors can get pretty close to Allen. I mean, listen, a top quarterback, a high-end number one over quarterback's going to average about 23 points per game. A high-end receiver is going to average about 20 points per game. Kyler is probably going to average about 18 points per game, right around there. So I think it's going to I think it would drastically improve your team because that's
because a wide receiver you 10 points a game.
Yeah, at most. Usually. And so for me, like when you're constructing a roster, that's what I'm not looking at names. Like I'm looking at my full roster. Like how do I get the most points week in and week out? And I think Kyler and Neighbors does that significantly over Josh Allen. Of course you're losing a quarterback, but that's why you're getting this deal done. And listen, get Neighbors. Like these are the kind of deals you have to make. You need a superstar for a superstar, and you could do way worse than get offered Kyler Murray. Like way worse. So
and it's nice he has the upside in May still too. So it's a boom bust guy, but we could see we could see his ceiling is a Josh Allen. He's a rushing guy that has a big arm. Like, will he hit it? Probably not. Like it's really difficult to project that, but like that is his ceiling. So
yeah, I would do that deal. Go ahead and get it done.
I think so too.
Chase. I'd hit the snap accept.
There we go. Done and done. All right. We are back reviewing rosters. If you want to get your roster reviewed like Zachary is doing right now, scan that QR code on the upper left-hand corner, and we will make sure to look at your team and put it into the beautiful GM tool here. If you are not a part of the Nerd Herd right now, use code Roster Rescue. You'll get 15% off. That's right, 15% off. You get this tool, but not just this tool. You get an extra podcast. You get our nerd scores, which we are dropping those on Monday right before the draft. So it's going to be pretty awesome. We also have Nerd Score Plus coming out this year. You get the film room. So as soon as that guy is drafted and you're on the clock and you're like, crap, I don't know anything about Tet McMillan. Should I draft him? You could just head into the Dynasty Nerds film room, watch a couple games real quick and be like, oh, that's how I feel about him. All right, I'll take a Mekabuka. All right, or whatever you decide. So you have that opportunity right there. So let's go ahead and get into Zachary's roster here. This is a 1 QB league. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Anthony Richardson at quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Najee Harris at running back. At wide receiver, we have Jamar Chase, keep going, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams, Xavier Legette. So quite a stable there of wide receivers. Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, Travis Kelce at tight end. And we also have the 103 in this year's draft. We do not have our 26 first for what it's worth, but with a team like this, I don't think we are too worried about that. This team is currently in third place in dynasty mode. In contender mode, we are first place, which is not a big surprise to me. This is a very, very good looking roster. Look, it's a 1 QB league. You have both Herbert and Burrow. My guess is you haven't been able to move either one of them. But if there is somebody that needs a quarterback, I would have no issue at all moving either one of those. You don't really need both. Give me a Matthew Stafford to back up my 1 QB and I'm fine. I don't need to. But sometimes it's hard to make those deals in a 1 QB league. You're looking really good at wide receiver. This is one of the deepest wide receiver rooms I've ever seen. And in fact, I would even be potentially open. Rich, would you be open to maybe even taking 2 of these receivers to upgrade one of them in your starting lineup?
Yeah, he asked if he should take the 1-3 and T. Higgins to combine it. Couldn't have one pick one, but have thought about trading it along with T. I'll be some like I would use the 1-3 and just draft the best running back there because you're guaranteed either Hampton or Henderson. So I would take the running back there. But I would definitely I would just go ahead and move. I would move T along
and
the
Godwin.
Line. I'd be okay with moving Godwin too. Again, I'm not trying to mess with this too much because I'm trying to win. And Godwin, remember, Godwin up until he got hurt was like 0.3 points behind Jamar Chase to be wide receiver 1 overall. I think you're going to be in a good position if he bounces back to trade Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams in season. I think Devontae Adams is in line to have a monster fantasy season this year. Monster year. So T. Higgins, I think you don't want to have both Bengals receivers anyways. T. Higgins, I think, is the least valuable receiver on here for in-season play, the lowest ceiling. So I'm just go ahead and keep 1-3, go for a running back. Who are some of these teams? Now, again, it's Dynasty, so he has his youth and a new contract inside. Who needs a receiver there? And Dynasty,
who needs some depth at receiver? This team, I'm guessing they're not contending, so they're probably not looking at those guys. Yeah, that team's not contending. No. What about 11? No, they don't have any assets we would be wanting because we want to upgrade at receiver. Now, Nico, that could be an interesting one. T. Higgins and Chris Godwin for Nico because this team clearly needs more wide receivers. They only have 2.5 startable receivers.
Can you scroll up on this roster? I would offer this team straight up T. Higgins for their 27 first. I'm not even looking for returns. Here's what I'm doing. I'm looking at those bottom 3 teams, and I'm offering all 3 of those bottom 3 teams T. Higgins for their 27 first. Straight up. I don't even my team's deep enough. I'm 1-3. I'm gonna fill my running back roster. I am looking to offload. What I would do is I would take T. Higgins, and I'm just trying to get future draft capital because even if it's not at high end first, you'll have then 227 first, which is going to put you in position again to move up or grab 2 young players. I'm just going to go ahead and offload T with this team, and I'm going to try and we did a show a couple weeks ago, the Nerd Herd, and my strategy is what I'm doing. I took all my 20s. I'm going in the Dynasty GM. Now, this is a great way to use the GM. For anybody that's listening, you don't have the GM. Here's a way to utilize. This is from a Nerd Herd member. Put the whole thing back in Dynasty mode. No specific receiver here, Pete. So you want to know a really good way to be savvy and use this tool to benefit yourself? I did this in every league I was in. I went in to every league I was a contender in. I offered my 3rd round pick this year, a 3rd round pick in 26, and my 26th first for every team that was in the bottom 6 on the Dynasty GM League Analyzer. And for their 27 first. So I'm trying to upgrade higher in the 27 first. So with that roster, I'm just looking at all those teams that are in the bottom 6, and I'm going to start to see it so the other teams don't snap accept, but I'm going to offer all those teams T. Higgins for their 27 first. It might be like the bottom 3 for the other ones are a little bit better. I might want a little bit more for T. Higgins.
That's what I was going to say. I think you could even throw, especially with it being 2 years out, I think you could easily ask for the second as well.
Yeah, but again, so those bottom 3 teams are going to be so bad. They're going to be real hesitant to give up their first at the get-go, right? So offering their first and second, they're going to look at it like they're losing 2 high-end assets because that's what they are. I would go ahead and gamble on losing T. Higgins for just 1 first, 2 years away to those bottom 3 teams. That's my first offer. And that's the only offer I'm making right out the gate. If all 3 of those decline, then I'm going to get a little bit more savvy with T. Higgins. And maybe for this team, Garrett, like I'm just looking for draft. I don't want any players back. I'm just looking for draft capital. Like I'm looking trying to get more elite assets. Or now all of a sudden, if I have, he doesn't have a 26 first anyways. But if I have 227 first, and we know it's a really good class, this team that's already really good is going to take those 27 first, and he'll be able to get like he might put himself, he can get Bijan Robinson, Ashton Genty, right? Malik Neighbors. Like he'll be at least in position to get really good a player back. And in this kind of team, you just want he's got the proven assets. If anything, you want more proven assets, but his team's good enough where he doesn't have to go hunting for there. So draft capital is going to be your best open-ended asset that's never going to lose value. Anything else you trade for isn't necessarily going to start on your roster. It'd be equal value to what you got or a decline in assets. So the first round pick is going to be your number 1 asset. And maybe those bottom teams, maybe they won't do it because they're so bad, give up your 27 first, but they're going to get a young player. So they're going to like that. And they're getting a first down the road for you. And honestly, if some of them have like 1-5 or 1-6, I might be even throw in T and the 1-3 to move back just a couple spots, not much for their 27 first as well. And to move back a couple spots, I'd be willing to do.
So like get 105 and you know,
you're,
but what I love about having
their 27 first.
Yeah.
T and 1-3.
I'd be open to that, but I love having the top 3 pick and getting one of those 3 running backs. Like I'd be very hesitant to move off of that because you have a very nice trio of running backs. I expect a big year out of Najee Harris unless something happens in the draft, which is not out of the realm of possibility. So, but as soon as one guy gets injured, all of a sudden you're very shallow at running back.
He's protected though. He's insulated with the receiver room. He'll be able to flip even for an old running back. He'll be able to flip somebody for a running back. Like I think his receiving room really insulates him really well.
For sure. But if you're giving up T. Higgins as well, now all of a sudden you don't have as much depth there. So that's why I think 103 is key to getting that extra running back because now you're not desperate. If you can make a move in season to like upgrade your running back or whatever, cool. But you're not, when people smell blood in the water when you're a contender and you're down to, I only have enough guys to start. I have 0 depth because as soon as you come to them with a trade, they're like, oh, this guy's desperate. He needs somebody. You don't want to be in a spot where you need anything. You just want to be in a spot where you can make a move if the move makes sense. So I think that's the key here. And having the pick number 3 is that insulates you now at every position to where you don't need anything. And that's the best feeling in Dynasty.
Yeah, and just move. I'm looking for T. Like I said, I mean, start there. The bottom 3 teams, see if it gets done. Honestly, with your roster, I'd throw in T and for those teams. Honestly, dude, to make it look real sexy, I'd throw T first. They say no. Offer T and your. Does he have his 26 second?
I believe so.
Can we go down to his roster? 26.
I think this is the wrong team. We're looking at node.
Yeah, we need
team 3.
Was it team 3? I thought it
there you
switched. My bad. Okay.
So
very good.
26.
Yeah, he has his 26 second.
Yeah, so this is going to be a late second, right? I'm offering T. Higgins in my second next year for those bottom 3 teams 27 first. I promise you in 2027, you're going to be extremely happy you made that trade. Extremely happy you did. So a late second in 20s. So they're looking like, oh, I'm getting a second and T. I'm just giving them a first 2 years down the road. I'm getting a second next year. I have a strong feeling one of those 3 might say yes. That's the move I'm making. And in 2027, you're going to be hitting us up on X or email saying, dude, I was on your roster review show 2 years ago, and now I have Jeremiah Smith because of you. Now, if I ever see you, I'm going to kiss you on the lips.
There you go.
And it's a proper.
All right. Best of luck, Zachary. You've built a very good team. You're in a very good spot to win the ship this year. So, Pete, I know we've had a bunch of roster reviews come in. I know we have some trade questions as well. What do we have next? Looks like we have a trade question.
Yep, we got a trade question, and then we actually have a couple FFP rosters
FFPC
to look
leagues.
over. So that's exciting.
Okay, I like it. What's that?
Nothing. I said, gosh dang it.
Oh, all right. Traded the 106 and 111 for Marvin Harrison and 302. What would you do here? Do you like that deal? Do you not like that deal? It all comes down to how you feel about Marvin Harrison.
What's the league structure? Is it Superflex? Is it one? If it's 1 QB, I love it.
I love it either way, honestly. But yeah, if it's
premium, I'm totally fine with it.
It's Superflex tight end premium.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It all comes down to, like, honestly, how do you feel about Marvin Harrison Jr.? Do you think last season was his low water mark? Which I tend to think that's the case. 850 yards and 8 touchdowns is probably the worst season he's going to have between now and year 11 of his career. So if you know that is your floor and your ceiling is 1,500 yards and 12 to 14 touchdowns, like, yeah, I'll give up, even in a class we like, I'll give up a mid first and a late first to get a guy like that. Yeah, I think that's a good deal.
Yeah. That's what it's going to cost. Like you're still gambling for those 2 first, but Marv's again, at 1-6, you're taking Marv. So you're just giving up Cam Scatterbo. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. You're giving up
Trey Harris. Not Trey Harris. I mean, Luther Burden, something along those lines.
Yeah,
Dylan Sampson. I'm okay with it. Yeah. It's true for the moon. I'm always like, I love to swing it. Like, and listen, those are my favorite prospects to buy. I say on the show all the time, the guys that like kind of underperform their rookie year. Like I'm willing to as long as they hit the metrics, like over 500 receiving yards as a receiver. Yeah. The path for the run, like I'm okay to look past a down rookie year. Like everybody's like, what have you done for me right this second? Come on, I'm trying to build a family.
and you got the 302 on top. Not that it does much, but when I was putting together my top 36 players, like there's some interesting names that like might be able to get a Jalen Knoll at 3-2. Like you might be able to get a LaQuint Allen at 3-2. Like
it's funny.
There's some interesting names.
I was looking at, I'm in a league where my only picks are 3-2 and 3-4 this year in the league. I'm a degenerate. I look at my rosters all the time because I have so many, I forget who's what and where. So I just look at my draft picks this time of year. And one league I have 3-2 and 3-4, and I'm like, man, odds are those gonna be that good. But I did the same thing. I went through my top rankings, and I was like, man, I can get like Jalen Knoll probably here. There's gonna be a couple, like I might be able to get like Mason Taylor here. Like there's gonna be a couple players I can get that at least I'll be excited about. So absolutely, yeah, it's a shot in the dark, but listen, it's okay. It's in the dark.
Every extra bullet in the gun is worth it.
Yeah, you're right. It really is. Any extra shot is gonna be worth it. And in this class, what's nice about it too is like the third this running back class is so deep. It's gonna push some of those like receiver, like a Jalen Royal spot. Not necessarily him, because he's probably going to second round, but there'll be a receiver or tight end there that you do kind of like. So at 3-2, it's a high third. Those guys don't usually pan out, but again, if you're gonna have a third round pick, you want to be 3-1. 3-2 in a deeper class. You don't want 3-11, 3-12.
No.
And like I said, you're getting Marv here. So you're getting what I feel like is, I don't want to call him a sure thing because he's not, because he didn't put out that year that you wanted to in Arizona, but like one of the higher graded prospects I've ever watched tape on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dennis says, "Sup, all you amazing, beautiful people. Hope you have a great day." We are having a great day. And he said he just traded JSN for Rashee Rice and Ricky Pearsall. That's a spicy one there. What side are you leaning?
I'm leaning JSN.
You're leaning JSN? I'm torn because we saw what Rashee Rice did at the beginning of the year with Pat Mahomes. I mean, he was putting up numbers. Yeah, and Ricky Pearsall has a big opportunity this year. So it's tough for me. Like, that's close.
JSN was just a top 7 quarterback or top 9. I can't remember if it was 7 or 9, somewhere around there.
He was somewhere in like the mid to late.
Yeah, and they got rid of DK Metcalf. I know they're bringing Cooper Kupp. That's not long term. So I feel really good about JSN. He was a high prospect that we liked a lot as well. And you're right, Rashee Rice looked really good, but like they did draft Xavier Worthy in the first round. He looked really good throughout the year, especially at the end. I expect them to bring in a good running back as well. He's got the mild legal issue. He is coming off a knee injury. Ricky Pearsall, nice upside, but again, we don't know how it's going to look with Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings there and George Kittle. So for me, I would just rather, like, that's the kind of deal. Like, I just want the better player overall. And that to me is JSN. And listen, I like Rashee Rice a lot too, but you're talking about one player that just ascended drastically in the second year and 2 players that have red flags on them is a better way to say it. I'm with you. I love Rashee Rice. I've traded I traded Kenneth Walker for him straight up in the league. So I like him too, but like in that position, go ahead and give me the proven asset. If you need the depth, I guess it's worth the gamble, but you're the one gambling in my eyes.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our next roster rescue. Oh, all right. Is this our guy Harvey?
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's a new
okay.
One. It's another one. It is Daniel.
Oh no.
Daniel.
Yep.
Dan the man.
All
All
I saw
right.
was his running back, so I'm like, uh-oh. I hope when Peter starts to scroll down, we're going to see some draft picks that are really going to start to pop up here.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. All right. So this is our nuke here. This is, I'm trying to find the notes. Let's see, Forbidden Planet. Where is it at? Oh, there it is. No, that's not it.
You start scrolling down a little bit, Peter, so I can start looking while he's reading. Okay. Is that getting better?
Do you want me to read it, Garrett?
Yeah, because we've got 2 in the no DAC championships. Is that
Oh, my bad. I did not change it. It's in old bold now.
okay? So it's that one. Okay. All right. League name Forbidden Planet. We have some extra scoring bonuses that boost quarterback and running back scoring and value. Looking for advice and suggestions on how to best continue the rebuild. So we are in the midst of a rebuild. So let's scroll up to the top here. This is Superflex, tight end premium. We have Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, and we do not have a third quarterback at the moment. Only running back is
bonus?
Khalil Herbert. Wide receiver, we have Xavier Worthy, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs, Jalen McMillan, Rashid Shaheed. Tight ends, we've got Dallas Goedert, Ben Sinnott, Jatavian Sanders, I guess. And then picks-wise, we have 112. And that is it for this year until 301 and 306. We do have 226 first, and we have our 27 first. Rich, this is a tough one, man. This is one of the this is one of the tough, more difficult ones. Now he took it over. This is not his.
Yep.
Brave
man, damn it. I let him lead my children into battle.
There we go. So looking at this roster, let's scroll all the way up to the top. Honestly, at this point, there's not much to work with.
Click on team 3 for me. Scroll down. I want to see the receivers. Oh yeah, we got a dance partner right here for DK Metcalf. Yes, we do. Keep strong. Does he have 108? Okay. I'm going to start right there.
All right. Let's make that easy. Would you trade 108 straight up for DK Metcalf?
I'm going to try and – would you rather try and ask for 208 too? Because this guy really needs DK Metcalf, so I think you can get 108 plus because he's obviously the third team here. I don't know about contender mode or not what he's in, but would you ask for 2.8 or would you just rather ask for a 27 second? I want a second. 2.8 this year or 27 second?
I would take it this year because you could always trade a this year second for multiple assets, like a 27 second and a 27 third. So I would probably take this year's.
Yeah, I'd ask for 108 and 208 for DK Metcalf to this team. He needs it. You want to put in contender mode, Pete? See who else needs, who's thirsty? Because DK Metcalf's his number one asset to trade. I mean, because like you need Drake May, unfortunately. And Trevor Lawrence, you probably won't get what you like. It's probably going to be.
I think Trevor Lawrence might be an in-season trade for me.
Agree.
Where like let's see if what's his name Cohen kind of helps boost his stock, and then but I'm not giving up Drake May unless somebody really wants to
that team
give me something crazy.
And I'm looking to if that 26 first is from a contender as well. The Blitz. Wait, he's not Blitz Brawlers, is he? No, he's not. So that's that team. They're a middle. So you probably want to keep it. Those 26 first will probably be more valuable next year, more realistic, because yours is going to probably be 1-1. So you don't really want to move that. Because even if it's a backlash, you're going to still get a stud there. I'm offering the first thing we're at the gate scare is that one team. I'm offering DK Metcalf for 1.8 and 2.8 right there. And at 1.8, when that pick is on the clock, I'm seeing if I can manipulate that into more assets as well before even I take a player.
Yeah. And I'm totally with you. I would trade 1.8. Then you want to give me a 27 first and a 26 first for 1.8. Like, but that's what I'm trying to shoot for, because right now you just need as many bullets in the gun as you can get, because right now you're close to shooting blanks. Like,
you don't shoot blanks. No children for you.
No. So I think that's the thing is you've got to get yourself as many opportunities to hit a home run as you can. Josh Downs is another in-season one that I'm taking a look at. Nobody's going to want him right now, but if Daniel Jones ends up being the starting quarterback, he could have a nice spike in value. I don't know how much I trust it long term, so I would probably capitalize on the spike because I don't see him ever being, a wide receiver 1. I think best case is probably a mid to late wide receiver 2. That's probably best case for Josh Downs. So he's another one I'd capitalize on. What about Xavier Worthy? Because I get it that he's young and I don't really want to give up young assets, but at the same time, I don't trust Xavier Worthy.
Oh, 100%. I mean, listen, I actually like Xavier Worthy. I think he's a nice asset as a wide receiver too. But for this team, outside of said Trevor Lawrence, the value is not there currently. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy. I like him, but the community does not like him, so I wouldn't move him now. I'm with you in season, but everybody else has got to go. So yeah, Xavier Rice can go too. Like, what is Xavier? You're nowhere close. So DK Metcalf for 1.8. Who's got Pat Mahomes? Like, let's just go see if we get. I love offering those players. It always does give you a little
stack.
The stack. It does give people a little bit more excited there about making that move. So right here, let's scroll down. Oh, he's already got Rashee Rice.
Oh, he's got Rice. Yeah, he probably won't care.
Never mind. So who else needs a receiver here? Like this, that's a contender, or even
dynasty. Yeah, because he works on either level.
Yeah, Xavier works for everybody.
So yeah, just click the wide receivers for us, Pete.
Yeah, let's start dancing in here. They got hardwood floors. Let's put our feet on them.
All right, so we got some old receivers on this team. What is this team doing? They must have. Oh yeah, they're just an old team. They're pushing it for one more year is what they're doing.
Okay.
But they could probably use a wide receiver. If they're pushing it for one more year.
Offer both those teams that are 11 and 12 right there, Blitz. Well, you're 12. Offer 11.
I think we're 10.
We're 10?
Yeah, we're an unworthy opponent.
I'm offering 11 and 12 Xavier Worthy for their first 27 first. They're going to look at it and say,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, they're saying, hey, Xavier was a first round pick. I'm getting him 2 years early, help my rebuild. I need a receiver. And their teams are bad.
This team doesn't even have their 27 first.
Okay, well, he doesn't get to participate in the raffle, but the 11 team does. And what about the 9 team? How doo-doo butter is that?
What picks? All right, so yeah, this team could do it. They have their 26 and their 27. That other team, though, they have a bunch of picks. But they're all this year. What picks does Team 12 have? Because they're all in to win it this year. 2-3, 2-6, 3-2. Not for Worthy, but is there something there, Rich, where we can offload Dontavian Wicks? We can offload who's on our team?
I'd offer what does he have? Pick 112?
He has 112, yep.
Yeah, I'd offer that team 112 for 2-3 and 2-6.
I would have no problem with that.
Yeah, I would do that.
I would wait till I'm on the clock to see who's there just in case.
Yeah, but I guarantee it's probably going to be the same tiers. I would offer that. I'd offer 2-3 for 2-3 and 2-6 there. Again, just a couple more shots, right? Instead of one.
Because I think 2-3 is going to basically be the same tier as 112. So I'm with you on that. 2-6 might be a new tier, but that's the bonus you're getting on top.
Yeah, and you're gonna get somebody like, I mean, it's a possible a Cam Scatterboot could fall there because I know we love him more than the community.
That's true.
Dylan Sampson there, a receiver that goes in the second round, like a Jaden Higgins, a Jalen Noel, like one of those receivers that goes in the second round could possibly be there that has really good draft pedigree. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and drop there from 112 for 2-3, 212. I mean, I think even though I know he nuked us and he wants a clear definition, I think we just nailed what we could possibly nail here. But Xavier Worthy and DK Metcalf have got to go.
So the one thing Dan just told us, he said the one team that we were looking at is the team that he has his 26 first. So he doesn't really want to help their chances because he wants that pick to be better.
Which one?
The Blitz Brawlers.
Oh, which one was that?
I think that was the one where we're doing 112 for 2-3 and 2-6. I think that's that one.
Oh, don't worry about that. they're
You find somebody else in that same type of tier, though.
No. Stay there anyways. 112 is not going to significantly make that team that much better. Like you don't have to worry about that. That wouldn't hesitate me at all. Yeah,
That's
for 2, 3, 2, 6, like 112 is not going to be like, maybe it could, but no different. The odds are just as good at 2, 3 or 2, 6. Now he has 2 shots to make his team significantly better compared to the 1. So you're actually going to limit him a little bit by moving down just 3 spots. Like it's just 3 spots, man. It's not much. And to the point where like he might not even accept that, to be honest with you, because I know I probably wouldn't accept.
Yeah, it's hard to know if I would or wouldn't. It's close. It's definitely close. Pete, you still there, buddy?
Always.
We might have. All right, I was making sure it wasn't me that was gone, and it's Rich. So something happened with Rich's internet. Not sure what happened, but we'll kind of keep it moving there. I'm trying to think anything else here. We mentioned Trevor Lawrence. He's probably an in-season move. Can you scroll back up to the wide receivers for me?
Yeah.
So I am looking at maybe like Rashid Shaheed, Jalen McMillan. Like, are there some seconds and thirds that I can maybe get for those guys? Because I don't think they're helping me anytime soon. Dallas Goedert's another one. He's off my roster. Like, can somebody give me 211, 212, 301 for Dallas Goedert?
He might get traded during the draft cycle. So there might be a spike on his value.
Yeah. So if you can get even a little extra. So like, I'm taking anything that will get me any draft capital. And I'm saying, okay, you really like Eric All? Sure. I'll take 311 for Eric All. Like I'm giving myself as many bullets in the gun of currency because everyone wants currency. They might not like Eric All. They might not like Michael Mayer, but everybody likes draft picks. So you can always move those draft picks again later, especially if they're in 27 or 26. You have those for future years to do that. They help you move up and down in the draft. So I am like any player that I do not foresee being, and there'll be one that you trade that like ends up being decent. Oh, well, it happens. But for the most part, you're going to just be getting all of the roster cloggers off your team.
Yeah. And he's got a long road ahead of him.
Absolutely.
All right. Before we go, I want to say this too. For a team like this, you're going to end up with the 1-1 next year. When you have a team that's this bad, usually the 1-1, unless like when we get there, it's like Ashton Genty's like a Jeremiah Smith, which I wouldn't move off of. You're probably going to want to move back off of 1-1-2 next year. Just then you know when you get ahead of it. When you end up with a 1-1, your best move will probably be to move out of 1-1 for a later pick and another 27 first is what you want to do. So say you have 1-1 and you can move back to 1-4, 1-5. You want to stay with a team that's probably going to have a decent pick in 27 too, but you're going to want to do that for their 27 first as well, because that 1-1 player is not going to help you either. Like, again, when Garrett said you want to add bullets, you're going to want to, when you end up with that 1-1, keep adding that because your cupboards are bare. So the 1-1 isn't going to help you kind of fast forward this. So you're definitely going to have to take that 1-1 and try and even get more draft capital on that. And you're going to want to get in that 27 class too, which will also put you in position. The biggest thing that's going to like catapult this rebuild is when you end up with Jeremiah Smith in 2027. So you got to make sure you end up with the 1-1 too, because Jeremiah Smith is going to be a true, in the exact words of generational
Calvin
player.
Johnson.
Yes.
Jamar Chase.
Yes.
Like he's going to be that type of impact for your team.
And let me put it like this as well. Not only then will you have more 27 draft picks to put you in a good spot in that draft class, when you end up with that 1-1 and how big of a name Jeremiah Smith is going to be, you might then be in position to trade Jeremiah Smith for like almost a starting roster at that point. You might as well get 2 first-round picks in 2027, like, and settle with like Ryan Williams, a really good running back, and end up with like an Ashton Genty. Like Jeremiah Smith is going to be that good. Like he's going to hold that much value where like, yeah, it's one guy that you want that one guy, but if he could turn you into 3 good guys, that's what your roster needs. So just make sure going into next year as well, Dan, here, to be very conscious of trying to possibly move out of 1-1 for even more capital as well.
Perfect. All right, let's head to our next one. Pete, who do we got up next?
We have a FFPC league from Michael, number
Michael with an
226.
FFPC league. Looks
You
like
gotta,
the $77.
check out these FFPC leagues. They're so fun. They're guaranteed never to fold if you don't play in FFPC leagues. They have a couple orphans left. They have their new leagues open up. If you use the promo code NERDS right now, you're going to get $25 off your roster at FFPC. It's just one of the best hosting platforms you could possibly ask for, and opens the door to let you play in some high level leagues too for like up to $2,500. So $25 isn't much off there, but if you join a $75 league, it's only going to cost you $40 to join. So promo code NERDS at myffpc.com.
Nice. Good work there. All right. This is an FFPC league. He said, help me revive this sick orphan. And I don't think he means sick as in like really cool. I think he means sick as in like might die.
Yeah, full-blown AIDS. This is AIDS.
All right. Anthony Richardson, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones at quarterback. Running back, Jerome Ford, Roshan Johnson. Wide receivers, Khalil Shakir, Josh Downs, Jacoby Myers, Amari Cooper, Marquise Brown.
I thought that last roster was the worst roster I saw in this month. But boy, 1 minute later, boy, was I wrong.
Oh my goodness. Dallas Goedert, Brenton Strange. And is that true? No draft? That can't be true.
No. So FFPC doesn't show draft picks on GM. Okay. So he has, I'm looking at his notes right now.
I was like, there's no way. That's just mean.
So he has the 108, 109, 110, the 206, and the 304. Yep. And he has to start one defense, a kicker, one super flex, one flex, two wide receiver, two running back, one quarterback, one tight end.
Okay. All right. So with that, Rich,
what are the draft picks? 108, 19.
And 110.
110.
206.
Okay.
So we don't have a lot of, I mean, we have 3 first-round picks, which is good, but we don't have any elite high-end first-round picks. These are all the mid to late picks, unfortunately. We've got, so go back up to our quarterbacks. I know we have 3 sort of starters. So Russell Wilson is supposed to be the starter. We expect him to be the starter. Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, you have a starter between those two. We don't know which one it's going to be necessarily, but
best offer for any of those best offer.
Is there anything on this roster right now that you are keeping?
No. The only asset he has is Khalil Shakir, which you'll probably won't be able to get as much for him until in season. But I'm taking
early second,
maybe. And at that point, I'd rather just hold on to him. Honestly, he's because
probably all you're also getting for Russell Wilson is a mid to early second.
Yeah, I would take it in a heartbeat, and I would take anything. I would literally take the best. I'm gonna package Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones to give somebody like whoever needs a quarterback there, to give him a guaranteed starter in Indianapolis for 2025. But I'm going to see the best I can do here for those. And then Russell Wilson for the best offer I can get. I'm going into this. You have nothing, so why need quarterbacks too? Like you're going to be guaranteed to 1-1 next year. You can get the best quarterback then if you want to. This is a long rebuild. At 1-8, 1-9, 1-10, same thing. I'm seeing. Can I turn those into turn all those picks if I can for future assets, young players plus can I get a young player plus a future first, preferably 2027? Preferably 2027.
I think that's a good point, Rich. I think at this point, I know that this is going to be one of the longest rebuilds of all time. Like I know I'm basically donating to the league for a minimum of 3 seasons, more likely 4 to 5 seasons. So I, at this point, would like to own every possible pick in 2027 I can. Yeah. Like I am just maximizing everything and pushing all the chips into that year, because even like, let's say we were to draft a running back at 108 this year. By the time this team contends, they're already on their second contract and losing value.
So that guy have that running back's have grandkids.
So that's the hard part is like these picks, even though you want picks typically this year and your rebuilds, like this is one of those rare cases where you don't. Like I'm taking and getting as many assets in 2027 as I can and just pushing it all in.
Yeah. So you're targeting right now, again, kind of like this strategy that you use a GM for. You look at these teams that are 11, 10, and 9, and you're offering them like 1-8, like to be the last one offer, but I'm offering them each one of those 1-9 or 1-10 for their second round pick and their 27 first. Like I'm trying to get a second round pick from them now. Might be a little higher, and then their 27 first from them get a first. If they have a real high second, it might be a little difficult, but I'm with Garrett. I agree with you 100%, Garrett. Like I'm trying to push into another, like I need to turn those draft picks into multiple draft picks or young players with upside and draft picks. So Khalil Shakir is the only guy I'm holding until in season, then he can move. Because right now I'd rather just have Khalil Shakir than a second. Mm-hmm. But I think Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones will hold some value. Russell Wilson's a starter for now. I'd trade him. I'd trade both of those guys, like I said, for anything I can get, and then moving those draft picks. And then you're pushing all in for, like Garrett said, 2027.
Yep. I think, unfortunately, there's not a lot of like other moves to be made. Looking at your 2026 first, probably similar situation as the last one. This is the most guaranteed I've ever seen a team to have the 1-1 next year. So you can either if there is an elite quarterback that falls in your lap there, like let's say Arch Manning does come out and he's the guy. Hold on, Pete, just a second.
He doesn't have his first in 2026.
What?
He has rounds 2 through 7 picks. Have 2026 rounds 2 through 7.
Wow. This guy did you so dirty and just left the league.
No, he bought the team.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though. Like he bought this team. He knew what he was getting into, but like what owner does that to a team? Says, hey, I have the worst team ever. Oh, hey, I'll also get rid of my 26 first.
And Michael probably got his team for almost free. Hopefully use promo code nerds. Yeah, not having your first next year. Listen, you don't have it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't stop what you're doing.
No, it's just so mean.
God, that hurts you so much more though. So
that just makes the rebuild take at least another year.
Yeah, you're gonna at least you have 1-8, 1-9, 1-10. Like I'm gonna see if I turn.
I would try to get my pick back if I could. I doubt you can though.
Yeah, I doubt it too. Can you give 1-9? Would you take 1-9 and 1-10 for your first back next year?
1-1? Probably, knowing that it's going to be 1-1. I would love to try to do like 1-9 Khalil Shakir and Josh Downs. Like I'd love to try to do something like that, but and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but yeah, can you offer 1-8 and your quarterbacks and Josh Downs for? Then you're giving the whole Indy thing for the first.
He paid $9 for this team. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's fun. And listen, this goes back to my thing about my FFPC. You know, like you can get in here. Is it bad? But you pay $9 and it's on you to turn it around, right? Like he said,
these are fun.
You won the challenge, and for $9, it's worth the challenge. Like it's worth the $9 just to see if you could make these move and make it happen, right? Because again, 1-8, 1-9, 1-10 ain't doing anything for you. You got to see if you could turn that into multiple 27 first, and obviously get back into 26 next year as well.
Yep.
Garrett, I have to go. I'll be right back. I didn't wear my Depends. I gotta go to the bathroom. This large coffee.
No, you're good.
It's killing me. So I'll be right back.
There we go. All right. So while he does that, Michael, we appreciate you, man. This is a tough roster, but we love that you took on the challenge to make this happen. All right, Pete, you got something. I see you hovering there. What do you got for me?
Oh man, we have let's see, what do we have here?
Oh! We've got another nuke. I love it. You guys are awesome. This has been such a fun show today because we've had some rosters that are some of the most difficult rosters I've ever seen. Yet we've also had some rosters that are like just a piece or two away from being like a really, really good team. So I love the show today, how it's worked out. It's it's been awesome. All right. So whose roster are we taking a look at here?
We are looking at Jesse's team. Orphan, I took over a couple years ago. This is kind of the Orphan episode.
Yeah.
2. Orphan I took over a couple years ago. What are your thoughts, and how do I keep this moving in the right direction? I feel like I don't have any depth. So
Okay.
go for the championship or not.
So this
That's
is
the
Jesse,
question.
right?
Yep.
Correct, Pete? This is Jesse?
Yeah. Are you telling me to switch the caption?
Maybe. That was just kind of my nice way of
Nice.
saying it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so we have Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Anthony Richardson at quarterback. So obviously 2 elite assets at quarterback here. Running back wise, we have Jalen Wright, Braylon Allen, Isaac Guerrero, AJ Dillon. So not much there at running back. Wide receivers, though, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Drake London, and then Adonai Mitchell, Marvin Mims. Then at tight end, Dalton Kincaid, Tucker Kraft, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. Picks wise, it looks like this league has not rolled over to 2025 yet. So, Pete, do we know what picks these are?
We do not. And Jesse, if you are here, just drop it in the chat, and I'll keep an eye open for it.
Yeah, drop it in the chat so that way we know what picks these are. Because, if that's 101, 102, makes a big difference versus it being 111, 112. This is a team that's coming off of a rebuild. So I think this is probably a higher pick, but I don't know for sure. So with that,
say so.
What's that?
His running back situation. Well, I mean, Jaden had a really good year last year, so he kind of gave him a couple of wins he didn't anticipate.
That's true. So right now we have 2 really elite quarterbacks, and then we have Anthony Richardson. So on kind of a team that's coming from a rebuild and moving up into contender. Just out of curiosity, where are we at in contender mode, Pete? We're in 2nd in dynasty mode, but we're in 5th in rebuild. Or in contender. So that makes kind of makes a lot of sense. That's kind of what I thought. He's got the 102. So that's a very nice asset
it is
to have for this year. So
Trevin Henderson,
Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, obviously we're set with our starters. What are you doing right now with Anthony Richardson on a team like this that's kind of right in the middle? Because on one side of things, there's the thought of get what you can while he still has a name. Then the other side of it is it worth how low the value is for him right now? Is it worth just waiting to find out?
Yeah. For the last team, you take whatever you can get because who cares? I don't believe in Anthony Richardson. For this team, and no, listen, I am Anthony Richardson in a league, I think 2 leagues, and nobody wants him. No, like he holds no value. So just hold him there. Hope he wins the job. Hope he spikes it. He's a moot point, not worth talking about. He's not moving the needle on anything. He might help get a deal done slightly for somebody to quarterback, but it's not worth talking about because it's a long shot. He's got 1-2. He's bringing in a quarterback, a running back, but he needs another running back for sure. So he's really, really strong at receivers. Can I see those again?
His top 3 are very strong. Then it falls off.
Yeah, and that's fine because I'm going to use that to my advantage. Can you click on that second team? Looks like the receivers are not as good here. Okay,
so this isn't contender mode. Maybe
switch
it back to.
No, I'm fine here. I want to look at contender here for a minute.
All right.
His running backs are what up there? What's this team?
On this team? Bijan, Chase Brown, J.K. Dobbins.
Okay. He's got 1-2. You know what? I mean, I would love to move one of those receivers for a receiver and a running back if I could.
Mm-hmm.
Do a 2-for-1 deal.
What's team 3 look like? They also need receivers. Got Zay Flowers, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, and then Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, James.
Nothing I really want to do for one of those receivers that he has.
Yeah,
I would need to get younger.
Would you do it if you could get 2 receivers and a running back? Like if it was Josh Jacobs and Zay Flowers and Brandon Ayuk, let's say. Like, would you do that for one of those receivers or no?
Yeah, I mean, Zay Flowers is a nice receiver, so I would do that. For which one would you do? I wouldn't do it for Justin Jefferson.
I wouldn't do it for Justin Jefferson. I wouldn't do it for Puka. And our third one, I don't know if it would get done. I'm trying to remember who's our third receiver. Because that's the hard part is I need more assets in that room. Drake London, it might actually get done for.
I'd rather have Drake London than Puka, so I would offer for Puka. But even
So
then,
you
I
would
don't know.
do.
I don't
Would
know
you
if I
do Josh Jacobs, Zay Flowers, Brandon Ayuk? Would you do that for Puka or no? I don't know that I would.
I don't
It's
love it,
close.
but I would. I'm tempted. What other options I have out there? See,
Yeah,
Puka's
because
not.
that's what I want to do is I want to turn one of these elite assets into like 3 assets that can help me win.
And what sucks is that we don't know the draft picks. So like, I would love to see who else has like my move here would like try and identify somebody offering Puka or somebody gives me. So I'm getting Trevian Henderson and I'm getting another really good young running back, then a receiver on top.
And
That's
we are deep at tight end. Like that could easily be a sweetener on a deal because we have Dalton Kincaid, Tucker Kraft, Mike Gesicki, and there's one other guy.
Yeah, I'd move Tucker Kraft in part of that deal too. Like I'd throw
Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I'd be interested in throwing Tucker Kraft into that. So who has Devon Achane here? He's got Jalen Wright, so that kind of interests me a little bit there just to see there's a deal to get made. I like that stack.
Devon Achane. He's also got James Cook. What's his receivers? Oh, DJ Moore. Oh, yeah, there's some receivers here to work with. Will he do it though? Because he kind of needs the depth too. That's the tricky part.
So he's got 1-2, right? So could you offer him Puka Nacua? He needs a tight end. Can you offer him Puka Nacua, Tucker Kraft, and for Achane, Puka Nacua, Tucker Kraft? Tell me, am I off base here? Puka Nacua, Tucker Kraft, and 2-2 for Achane and DJ Moore.
Achane and DJ Moore. Tucker Kraft, Puka Nacua.
2-2.
I think that's a pretty fair trade. And honestly, I would be willing to do it.
Yeah, I'd do that. That's the first one that jumps to my head right there. And then he gets younger because he's got 3 older receivers. You get to stack with Caleb Williams, and then DJ Moore slides into your wide receiver 3 role, which is a phenomenal role for him to be in. And then you get Achane, and you get to stack him with Jalen Wright, so you're a little bit more protected. So now you got Achane and Trevian Henderson. And if you like Hampton more, then Hampton or whatever you want to go with there. But you got Trevian Henderson, Devon Achane, and then
I bet he would do that because look at his team. This is in contender mode, so Romo Dunze's down a little bit, but he has Romo Dunze and DJ Moore, so he probably doesn't want both receivers on the same team.
Yeah, you're right.
So I bet that could get done.
And then who's this tight end? Yeah, it's Kyle Pitts. So yeah, you offload that, and then you're good.
Yeah, because he desperately needs another tight end.
Mm-hmm.
I think that deal could get done.
Tucker Kraft's a good commodity. Yeah, I think so too, because Puka is such a high value. And I think DJ Moore's gonna have a really good year. I really do. I think DJ Moore's gonna be the number one receiver on that team this year. So I think
you get Devon Achane, and
you get Achane on top.
Yeah, I like that. That's a deal I'm pursuing, even if I have to sprinkle a little bit somewhere else, a third or something.
If I get make it happen. Yeah, because I mean, 3-2 that we just mentioned last roster is a nice pick, but I think if it had to, like, all right, dude, I don't want to do this, but I'll give you 3-2 as well, because that's gonna be pretty valuable to this team because he's a bottom team. So he's like, well, I'm getting a couple assets. I'm getting Puka to outflip DJ Moore, but I'm also upgrading. I'm getting ready to Achane. Some people might be a little bit lower in Achane. Who knows? But I don't know if it get done, but I'd offer that because I'd be intrigued if I was other team about that offer. I'd be pretty intrigued about it. Definitely getting because you're given 2. The big thing here is you're given 2-2 as well. So somebody's gonna think they're gonna get
a valuable asset.
It's a pretty valuable asset.
Yeah, I like that move though. I think that move would make a lot of sense for this team. So let's go back to our team then and kind of put that in perspective. Where now we have Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. We're good at quarterback, running back. Now we have Devon Achane with Jalen Wright. So we have the handcuff as well, kind of already there on our roster. Braylon Allen, who there's rumor that he might get a little bit more run this year than he got in the past, especially if something happens. Yeah. If something happens and Brees gets moved, all of a sudden his value goes crazy if that happens. And then we have 102, so we're adding Henderson or Hampton to that team.
You want to throw that in a trade calculator, that offer we said, just to see if it
yeah, let's throw it into the trade calculator.
If we're in the right spot.
So in dynasty mode,
which it is.
All right. So what team is that we're trying to deal with?
Yeah, my bad. Just a second.
You're good.
Is it?
Nope.
Lower
It's the one that has
than
A-Chan. Right
Hey,
there.
there we go. Chazburger.
Chaz.
I'm so hungry. Chazburger sounds
The
fantastic.
burger.
Let me see.
Okay. So what's the
Devon
what's the trade?
A-Chan. DJ Moore. 4. And then so that's it on that side. Then on our side, we're giving up Puka Nakua. 2-2.
And Tucker Craft.
Wait,
and Tucker
2-2?
Craft.
1-2, like our first?
No.
2-2.
This our second round pick.
Okay.
That's
Tucker
going to be the
Craft.
hard part in this is it's
Tucker
not
Craft.
going to know how to calculate it.
Go up. Go Tucker Craft. Yeah. So we're going to know that. But look, that's pretty fair. But the
That's a
2-2
super fair deal.
Yeah, the 2-2 going up.
It would be more like a 500 value more so than a mid second.
Yeah, so it's almost a dead even trade in it by our calculator values. So
Which sounds about right. That's kind of what we thought.
Yeah.
When you guys are talking trades, do you want me to have the trade calculator putting it together? In the
every
background?
once in a while, it's nice to throw it up there.
Okay.
We're kind of the built-in trade calculators, but sometimes it's nice to know, like, what does an objective source think?
Yeah, I just want to see, that. Like for me, like I thought it sounded like you and I both agreed it sounded pretty damn fair. I just want to make sure like our calculator, like we weren't far off from that aspect. So yeah, seems like a pretty good deal for you. And I think it makes your team better.
Sweet.
So now that puts us at a point with Omari and Hampton there. We really kind of just I feel like we need one more asset somewhere. So let's go back to our team because we still only have 3 receivers. How do we find one more asset for this team? Or is it the case of like, hey, this will be your playoff year. Next year will be your championship run.
Let's see those bottom teams. Let's see what they have to offer for that. Now we're going to try and move some draft capital here. So they got Aaron Jones, Najee, okay, and the receiver
Devontae Adams.
There we go. Can I offer this team my first? Can I offer this team my whole draft class next year? Again, I like to do that. Like when I'm like going for a big move, like I love to offer my first, second, and like once you get past the second, to make it look really good for these bottom teams, like my whole draft class, because 3rd, 4th, and 5th don't really mean
honestly,
as much.
Rich. I think we could get that done easily. I think we could ask for something else in return because if you're a non-contending team and you can get a first for Devontae Adams right now, you're thrilled. So if you're also getting a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like, can I get Tony Pollard thrown in? Can I get Aaron Jones thrown in?
I need one of those running backs thrown in with Devontae Adams, but that's where I'm going for. Because now I'm a legit contender. I got my 3rd running back and I got my 4th wide receiver for the flex spot. That's going to be a high end, and Devontae Adams will be a high end receiver this year if he stays healthy. So that's what you're looking for. The offset, and if anything moves or pivots at its playoff point, maybe you could trade him and recoup some of that if need be. But like, I want to get that 3rd running back because like I know you need a 4th receiver and you need a 3rd running back. So this guy right here fills both needs. You're getting a late first, but again, yeah, you're getting 2 assets that don't have long-term value, but that's not the point. You're trying to win a championship. And in most years, picks 9 through 12 in a rookie draft over the last 25 years have hit a historical hit rate of 50% of rosterable hit 50%.
Yeah.
Not studs, to be rosterable. So you're giving up a 50-50 chance of a rosterable player to give you probably an 80% better chance to win a championship. Easy math.
I like it.
Yeah.
Math don't lie.
And now all of a sudden you have a really good looking, if both those deals go through, you have a really nice roster. You're starting DJ Moore, Drake London, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. And then at running back, you got Trevion Henderson, Devon A-Chan, and Aaron Jones or Tony Pollard or one of those guys. Really good roster. Even Swift could hold some value there if he's going to be the pass catcher running back, depending on what Chicago does.
And the key is because we feel really good about Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. The key is really Dalton Kincaid. Like if he has a big year, you're sitting pretty. If he doesn't, that's the thing that could hold you back a little bit. Would you try to move 102 plus for Genty? I don't know that you have much plus to give right now. And honestly, both of those guys I think are going to be 1st round picks. If not, at least Omari and Hampton will be a 1st round pick. At this point, I don't know that I need to do that.
I mean, Yeah, because it's going to hinder. If you give up 2-2 in that one deal, then obviously you don't have 2-2. It probably lessens the likelihood of that deal getting done. If you can't get that deal done, I'd be okay giving up 1-2 and 2-2 for Genty.
If that's all I have to give, I would do it.
But again,
I wouldn't give more than that.
I also still want the draft to play out as well. Like,
yeah,
I still want to see Henderson where he ends up. It's going to be somewhere sexy. He's going to go ahead of Hampton.
All right, Jesse, you're on the right path, my guy. Keep pushing through. You're going to be sitting with a very nice team here very soon. All right. This is our last one now, right? Last one,
so.
Pete?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
We have two more. Both Justins.
Oh, because one was a nuke. That's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I am putting that up right now. My bad.
All good in the hood.
Set up. Okay, number 155 from Justin. Do you see the notes?
So we've got another FFPC, right?
Yep. So he has the 104, 110, 206, 304, and 308 as well. In case
he has. Say that again.
Yes, those picks again. My brain's starting to fry here. So
okay.
There it is. I see it on the sheet. 104, 110, 206, 304, 308. Okay. Another orphan bought on FFPC. Okay. All right. So taking a look at this team here, we have at quarterback, and this is one QB, right? Yeah, standard.
One QB standard.
So standard. So no PPR as well, Pete.
It is PPR. At least it's coming up in the league as PPR, and it's tied in premium. So I assume that there is a PPR aspect.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good to know. All right, so but it's still one QB. So Trevor Lawrence, Michael Penix, Derek Carr. Running backs, we have Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, Austin Eckler, Raheem Mostert. Receivers, Brian Thomas, Juwan Jennings, Elijah Moore, Demarcus Robinson. And then tight ends, we have Mike Gesicki. And just a reminder, our draft picks, we have the 104, 110, 206, 304, 308. So, Rich, what are you doing with this team here for our guy, Justin?
Okay. At 104, I'm hoping Travis Hunter's there to add him to the roster. If he's not, I'm okay with taking the third running back of the group. And
104 is a nice spot, assuming Hunter is going to be a wide receiver. 104 is a really nice spot there because you're in the same tier as the 102.
Yeah, and the only thing that sucks with this roster is I don't really want a running back for this roster. I want Travis Hunter. So for the most part, for me, if Hunter's not there, I'm going to let somebody else that wants Ted McMillan or that third running back. I would try to move back a little bit and gain some capital. Okay. Even if it's say Hunter's not there. Let's go. If Hunter's there, I'm just taking Hunter for this team.
Okay.
If he's not there, I would entertain all the way down to the 1.7 range, right around there, 1.8. If I can get a future first on top of it, I would do that. Cause then I'm in position to get Colston Loveland or Tyler Warren, which he could use on this roster as well. Definitely being tight end premium. And then at 110, I'm probably grabbing probably one of the better, Emeka Ibuka.
I think Ibuka is the dream there at 110. I would love to get Ibuka.
That would be the dream scenario there at 110 is Emeka. So if Hunter's not there, I'm going to try and get a future first to move back and grab a tight end there and take a receiver at 2.6. It's just, again, that's so hard to predict, but you're taking best player available there. Maybe to be a Mason Taylor.
Where are we at in contender mode, Pete? Just out of curiosity. That's what I thought. Yeah, so I think at this point for me, I'm probably embracing the fact that it might be another year or two before I'm really competing. And I kind of want to get my 26 first, assuming he still has it. I really want my 26 first to be high so that way I can move it on into the future. So Josh Jacobs and Ramondre Stevenson are very liquid assets for me at this point, if I can find the right deal to get done. Because what's that?
Team 3 or team 5 look like they're very interested. Team 5 there.
Yeah, because they have the receivers, but they do not have the running backs.
Can you offer? It's not going to work, but like, I would love to offer Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson. I wish that 2.6 was higher. Like, can you offer Josh Jacobs and Ramondre and 2.6 and something else for Garrett
Or any
Wilson?
receiver?
Yeah, for any of the well, Jamar's not getting it done. Puka's not getting it done. So I doubt it'd be either Nico or Garrett Wilson. I'd offer both those offers.
But I would just throw it out there, say like any of these 4 receivers you want to give me, that I'm willing to do.
Yeah, and I'll give you Ramondre. I'll give you before the draft too, before Ramondre gets his legs swept. But I'll give you Josh Jacobs, Ramondre, and 2.6. Any of those receivers you'll give me back. And then because they're probably thinking,
I would try it.
I could rock Ricky Pearsall. You know what I mean? I would start there for those. And I'd go into it with 0 running backs for next year, which I'm totally okay with because that's the easiest position to fill. So that team right there can use it. Team 3, they looks like they have more draft capital than anything, but they need so they need a running back here. They don't have any receivers. Can you scroll down a little bit, Peter, please? Well, they got some receivers.
They do.
I would offer him Josh Jacobs for Devontae Smith straight up.
I would want more. I think the community is low on Devonta Smith. I know we like him, but I think I could get more for Josh Jacobs. Like you might be able to get Jaden Reed and Devonta Smith for Josh Jacobs.
I would try.
I would push for it.
Yeah.
If I have to give 2.6 on top, I'm fine with that. But so let's go back to the trade calculator. Let's see what the trade calculator says.
Yeah, same thing. I would do a 2.6 Josh Jacobs and Ramondre for Jaden Reed and Devontae Smith to that team too.
All right. So Josh Jacobs
and Jaden Reed.
Maybe it won't get done. Maybe I'm too high on Jacobs.
We're also, this is our values, right? So that's a hard thing because I feel like we all value Smith high.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it wouldn't be the community's value. This would be our value on Smith. So yeah, our trade calculator will say no freaking way. I'd be curious to see, and that's what we want it to say. Like we want it to say, if you have Devonta Smith and Jaden Reed, you shouldn't entertain this. But I think other places and other people would say that that's a lot closer.
Well, I'm going to look up our friends over at Dynasty Trade Calculator. See, but I know
what they say.
I know they love Devontae Smith too.
Oh, do they love Devontae Smith too?
I
feel like
they have Josh Jacobs and Devontae Smith as equals.
Okay.
So if you could throw in, let's see what 2.6 would be valued in here.
Let's ask the chat too. Who do you have, Josh Jacobs or Devonta Smith? Get some community surveying going.
I mean, if you could do that, obviously in our eyes, in this calculator, it says to be a win if you go for 2.6. And I'd throw Ramondre Stevenson in there as well, though. So that's the thing. He needs running backs. Offer him 2, right? So you're going to offer him Ramondre. Doesn't have a lot of value. That's a lot closer. I would offer this team Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Jacobs, and 2.6 for Devontae Smith and Jaden Reed. That's the offer I'd make to that team.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening. I'm seeing
2.6 right now. People are going to value a little bit higher than most.
So maybe my opinion's off on it. Because I
Josh Jacobs is a really good running back. I know he's been in the league for a long time, but he's still only 27 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing for me, Dan, too. Like I like Jacobs more on a win now team, but so see what you can do. I think there's a trade to be made there. You might have to go back and forth, ask for too much at first to see where he's at on Josh Jacobs. And if he's like, you're asking for too much, you're like, okay, well then, we'll move down. All right. So I think that's the route we're going though, is more of a true, like, hey, let's increase the value of our 26 first, because we don't want to win a lot this year. I'm fine. I'm not moving any of the quarterbacks because you're not going to get anything for them. Let's find out if either Trevor Lawrence or Michael Penix has a ceiling, and if we can figure out what that ceiling is for either one of those guys this year. And hopefully both of them find it, and then you can move off of one. But chances are one of those two will find a ceiling this year and the other one won't. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see. And then tight end, we're kind of in a bad spot at tight end. Mike Gesicki's really all we got at the moment. So I would be really interested in, depending on my picks, like, is there a way that I can maybe get Elijah Aurora at 3-4? Or I know you like Fannin a lot. Like, give me an upside tight end with my third round pick.
If you keep 2-6, you'll get an upside tight end.
What's that?
At 2-6, you could probably get an upside tight end if you don't move it.
If we keep it. I know we've talked about trading it potentially in deals.
But if you trade that, but my move was like trying to move Travis. Listen, and then if you get those two receivers, you don't necessarily have to take Travis Hunter at 1-4. You can still just make sure you push back to like 1-7 and get more capital, and then take Colston Loveland or Tyler Warren.
Ooh, let's take a look at this. So the Rednecks have been asking about Josh Jacobs. Let's see what they have here. See, they don't really have anything we want unless they have.
What pick do they have?
They have picks that are interesting.
Yeah, what pick do they have?
Justin, let us know what picks they have, because right now you're not getting any. You're like, CD's a non-starter, and I think he has way more value than Zay Flowers. And I don't really want to pair Zay Flowers with any of those other running backs because it just doesn't do anything for me. So I would need an interesting pick to be added on to this for me to really even consider making.
A team can't trade a receiver because then all of a sudden it's not a contender anymore.
Right. Yeah. So that puts them in a bad spot. They have 108. That could work. Would you do Josh Jacobs straight up for 108?
I'd want a 27 second as well.
I think that's fair to ask for a little bit more in the future.
Yeah. Because then
I think that could get done. I'd be fine with that.
And then that really puts you in a better position to get Colston Loveland or Tyler Warren without moving back.
Yeah.
And then you can look, and then what it does is it bolsters that. And then at 1-4, you could take the running back to replace Josh Jacobs if need be. I'm still trying to trade back just a little bit, right there, some more capital. But if I get a 27 second and 1-8 for Josh Jacobs, I would do that.
Yep. And I'm still trying to move Ramondre to get something in order to get him off my team before the draft.
Yeah, I would throw in the league chat, hey, Ramondre can be had for anybody's 27 second. First one to offer it can get it. They offered 1-8 straight up. Can I see this guy's team again? Let me see his receivers. Yeah, Josh Jacobs ain't doing any favors. You're better off gambling on 1-8. But dude, he offered 1-8, asked for his 27 seconds, 2 years down the road. It's a second. See what he says.
Yeah, counter it.
If he says no, worst case, I would take 1-8 straight up for Josh Jacobs.
Or take a third. Like, just give you more bullets in the gun.
Yeah. For this team, for your team, yeah, I'm looking to offload them. It's gonna put your 26 pick to be a better position by not having them.
We says if you could get Trey Benson thrown in with that 1-8, I'd be open to that as well if that's a possibility.
Yep.
Give me a ceiling.
Trey Benson or 27 second, one of those two.
Okay, you said you can only trade 26 picks, no 27s in this league, so that's fine.
Okay.
26 second.
Okay, yeah, 26 second if I can get it, or I prefer Trey Benson. Shit,
yeah,
J.K. Dobbins as a gamble. He ends up somewhere. I take that too.
Sure.
A little something, just a little something. Even though you said, even if it's a third, but worst case, if I end up with 1-8 for that roster, like I'm okay to do that. I'm okay to lose like this year, even next year on Josh Jacobs. Because again, it doesn't matter how good Josh Jacobs is going to be. Like he doesn't.
What's he going to be in 3 years when I'm contending?
Yeah. So 1-8 is the big thing. Is I want to move here is because like you could use a tight end. Now 1-8 range is where they're going to go. They being tight end premium and 1 QB. They probably won't be there, but there's a chance. There's
a chance one of them.
But listen, if Colston Loveland goes to the Chargers, then I would just take Colston Loveland at 1-4 in tight end premium. I know it's a little of a reach there a little bit, but then I'm okay to take.
I bet you could trade back from 1-4 and do it.
Exactly. I want to trade back just a little bit from 1-4, 1-5, and just pick up a little extra capital. Draft Colston Loveland, 1-8, get a good running back, and 1-10, get another good running back or receiver. Or that 1-8 gives you Mecca Buka.
Justin, I would also be willing to do what you just said there. He said 206 this year and 108. Jacobs and 206 for 108 and a 26 first. Yes, I would also be willing to do that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. If you're able to turn basically your second round pick this year into first round pick next year, all day.
I would probably do 2-6 Josh Jacobs and I might be willing to even move my second next year. I know it's kind of just moving back, but like I know it'd be a high second, but just to move up in the
Throw in
first.
one of those thirds. You got 3-4 and 3-8. Throw in one of those thirds if you have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, like 3-8, 2-6, Josh Jacobs for 1-8 and your 26 first. That'd be hard to do. I feel like you have a better opportunity to like if we're already willing to move 1-8 for Josh Jacobs, and if you throw in 2-6, if you had to throw in your second next year, would you throw in 2-6 and like say essentially 2-2 for like 1-8 next year? I would.
Yeah, if that's what I thought I was getting, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like to move up in the first next year, I'd have no problem doing that too. But again, I mean, I think the crux of it is I would move 1-8 for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. At the end of the day, anything extra on top is awesome.
Yeah, you got to try and be a little bit maneuverability here. Pass that test.
All right. Best of luck to you, my guy. Appreciate you, Justin, for submitting that roster rescue. Pete, who's up next? It looks like we have Reese's Pieces. Have we done this one?
We've done this league before, yes.
But not the same guy.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, that's fun. I like that. Going with somebody different in the league. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So whose roster are we looking at here?
J-Rob. 12 teams Superflex PPR tight ends get 2 points per reception. Should I try and get younger and retool or keep pushing for the ship? If I should keep pushing, should I move my 2025 picks?
What pick is it? We got to see. Yes.
Yeah.
211,
only 211 and 204 this year.
Still commodities.
So in contender mode right now, this team is in third place. Dynasty mode, this team is in fifth place. So it's definitely more of a contender. Sorry, something's all right. Sorry about that. That was my fault. All right. So let's go back up to the top of the roster here. At quarterback, we have Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold. So we do have 3 quarterbacks for this season and 2 legit starters. Running back, James Cook, Chase Brown, Najee Harris, Rico Dowdle, and Justice Hill. Wide receivers, this is the strength of our team. Nico Collins, Drake London, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Cortland Sutton, Jawan Jennings. And then tight end, we have David Njoku and Isaiah Likely with the news that is seemingly coming out that the Baltimore are open to trading Mark Andrews. That gives him a nice little boost there. So you should be in good shape there. So right now, my initial thought, looking at the fact that you do not have your 26 first, and you only have 2-4 and 2-11 this year, with as good as your wide receiver crew is, I think you kind of have to push in for the ship this year, because even though it is borderline, what good does it do you if you don't have your 26 first? So this decision has kind of been made for you by moving your 26 first. And the good news is I think you're on the cusp. Like, you are not far away from contending. Now, I am not giving up my 27 first for like anything. I am holding on to my 2027 first. The tricky part is your running back situation, because right now, all 3 of those main assets are all assets that could lose a lot of value between today and the draft. That's the part that terrifies me. I think James Cook is the least likely to lose value, but the fact that they have not redone his deal and they're waiting till after the draft does give me some vibes of, ooh, could he be one of those players that were like, frick, they ended up drafting Quinshaw Judkins there? Like, what the heck do I do now? Like, that is one of the ones that scare me the most. So we still need to figure out a way to go all in this year without moving our 27 first. So, Rich, first of all, do you agree with that? Are we kind of on the same page here?
I've just been waiting for a chance to say I am looking to. Pete, can you put us in contender mode?
We're trying to making you have to wait to say something.
I'm trying to take 2-4, 2-11, and I'm trying to take Chase Brown and use the Chase Brown finish and how good he looked, because I think Bengals are for sure going to bring in a running back. I don't think Chase Brown's dead in the water, but who who's strong at running back? That's what we need to look at. Saquon, Derek. Okay, next.
Chuba's interesting, but he's risky too.
I would offer. I wouldn't
really
mind.
the only team strong.
I would offer this team Chase Brown for Josh Jacobs straight up. Personally, just me. I feel better about that.
You could try. I don't know if it'll get done, but you could definitely try.
Okay, go back to that other team. No, like I would offer this team. I don't know if it's going to get done. Can you offer this team again? Every team's so different. I know it sounds stupid. Like, here's the thing. I'm not big on Chase Brown, but a lot of people are. So could I offer this team Chase Brown 2-4 and 2-11 for Devon Achane?
You could try.
I don't think like I would slam no on that, but I'm thinking like, again, I'm biased.
Would you do it for Josh Jacobs on the other team?
I'm not offering 2-4 and 2-11. I would probably do.
I think I would, because I'm not worried at all about Josh Jacobs losing value this year.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of Chase Brown losing value. So if I have to give 2 seconds to do it, like,
yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would probably do that. I would love to like off this team. Can I get Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones or James Conner thrown in for those 2 seconds? Again, I think Chase Brown's youth does hold some value there. So I think a lot of the community, Garrett, could look at Josh Jacobs and Chase Brown not being too far apart. Like personally, like I could kind of see that. Like I don't see it that way. But I'm looking to package the 2 seconds and Chase Brown and upgrade my running back position for a little bit more security. Even at team 4, they had Kenneth Walker and Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, I would offer Chase Brown and both those seconds for either one of those guys as well.
Would you try to, how worried are you about James Cook? Like, would you try to maybe sneakily get off of him before the draft?
No, because I think he's having a really good year. He's trying to compete. I think James Cook is going to have a really good year this year. And listen, if James Cooks leaves because they don't want to pay him, somebody else will pay him. It might be short-lived, but somebody else will pay him. Like, that's the thing. Just because Josh Jacobs isn't going to work out and he's putting his home up for Buffalo doesn't mean Josh Jacobs won't be a starter somewhere else then. You know what I mean?
James Cook, right?
James Cook, yeah. So, like, it doesn't mean he won't be somewhere else to start. Like, he'll get if Najee Harris can get a deal in LA to be a starter, James Cook will get a deal somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not.
My only worry is this season. Like, if they were to add a Quinshawn, if they were to add a Dylan Sampson, a Caleb Johnson, a Cam Scattaboo,
I don't think they're gonna. They just took Ray Davis. He looked fine last year. Listen, again, they could just draft a running back next year high. Like, I don't think they're not looking. This isn't dynasty they're playing. This is NFL, so they're not looking to replace James Cook right away. Like this year, they don't need to. They need to fill the roster out to win a Super Bowl and get it past the Chiefs and get past, get past the AFC Championship game. So,
but to be fair, one of their issues has always been end of games having a back that they can rely on in those short yardage, like grind out the game type of situation. So there are a lot of backs in this class that they could get pretty cheap in the second, third, fourth round. But that would hinder Cook.
Listen, they take a running back in the fourth round. It's not going to hinder Cook. You know, just like Zach Charbonnet couldn't hinder Kenneth Walker. He's taking the second round. Like Cook was really good last year. So the reason he wants money, he looked really, really good last year. So he's going to get a carries. And in short yard situations, Cook had a couple good runs as well there, and he got Ray Davis. I'm not overly worried about like how is it going to play out. Nobody knows. But for 2025, I feel very fine having James Cook. Very fine. So I'm going to package those seconds and Chase Brown. I'm going to try and upgrade.
I definitely agree with that. Package the seconds, Chase Brown, try to upgrade. I do like Najee this year. I do think that there's a chance that they could add somebody that complement him. But I think with the amount of volume and how good that offensive line is, this will be the first year that he is somewhat efficient. Because that's always been the issue for Najee Harris is efficiency. But with that offensive line, he's not even getting touched till the first 3 yards, till after the first 3 yards on most runs.
Yeah, just fine.
So that's the nice part is his efficiency, even if his volume takes a little bit of a hit, which remember, he was still playing with Jaylen Warren before. So his volume did already take a little bit of a hit from Jaylen Warren. I think they could bring in a Jaylen Warren type of back to the situation. Do they bring in a LaQuint Allen to do some more of the receiving game stuff? Do they bring in a, Brashard Smith to do some of the receiving game stuff. You're just crossing your fingers it's not a round 2 running back. That's what you're crossing your fingers on, is it's not one of those elite guys. So I do think Najee Harris is going to have a pretty good season.
Okay.
All right. With that, and this, we don't have any more, right? This was the last one, Pete?
Yeah, this is the last one.
All right, perfect. Well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Roster Rescue. Hopefully, we gave you guys all the information you need to dominate your dynasty leagues. Rich, any last minute thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I think we did. I thought we did some really good trade offers out there. I think we really helped kind of navigate the ship a little bit. And remember, it's when you do this stuff, we can sit here and throw out 50 trades that we think are fair and good. But it really always comes down to any trade and anything you put out there. It's in the eyes of the other team's owners, right? Like, you can over something that's, I mean, I've offered trades that are more than fair. Like, I'm going to throw an offer that's more than fair because I want this player.
Sure.
And people are like, no, I don't want him. I want that player. So it's just, hopefully a lot of that gives you the guidance. So when we do these, like, nothing's like guaranteed, but those are the best offers that we can think of that we think could work, that we would accept if we were the other owner or be on the right path. And sometimes when you're making these offers, like, that's it. You're just trying to open the door to a path to negotiate. And if not, Garrett, some of those rosters, 2 of those teams will have a long path.
A long way to go.
Long road, but that's it. We'll be back next week with some more roster reviews.
Sweet. It's NFL draft week next week. Pete, anything before we get out of here?
Nope. Excited to see you all on Monday.
All right. We'll see you on Monday. Stay tuned. We might be embracing the noon show. So stay tuned on that. And we will see you guys next week.